You did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, we were riding Mr. Blobby, and obviously he's like...
You were riding Mr. Blobby?
No, I was riding with Mr. Blobby.
with.
Yeah.
Told you.
I didn't ride him.
All right.
Welcome to the show. The one and only.
Movie
is
star
here.
intro. I thought that's what we're doing. Movie
star-
trailer intro.
Movie trailer intro.
Yeah.
Oh, one. No, we can't. we can't. Steve Geall, welcome. Welcome to studio. Happy to have you here.
Thanks.
Happy to have you here.
Super stoked.
We've just been on a ride.
Yep.
It's wet.
And you don't deal with wet.
Don't do wet.
Dude,
I like your
all.
style, mate. I'll be
Guys-
honest with you. I like your style.
To be fair, I like it. And when I'm riding, it's fine. It's just the whole aftermath.
Clean
I
up.
can't
tough,
be dealing with that. No.
innit?
It's
would you
not.
have said also during, did it increase sort of moaning levels a bit? Or
No, I didn't moan at all. I think Deeks was moaning more.
Yeah,
than
Deeks
you.
moaned a bit. Yeah,
Like,
Deeks
no, I
moaned
was,
a
I was
bit.
pretty fine.
Yeah, no moaning,
Fine.
no.
No. it's good.
Okay,
Love it. It's good tracks out there.
good tracks.
Good fun.
Good track, good fun. Yeah, so you're not waterproof then? No,
Definitely not.
never been.
No.
Never been.
I
What
soak the
happens?
water up
You
big
swell
time.
up if it's like,
Yeah, real bad.
like a sponge.
Bloat. Yeah, big time.
We actually had a whale of a time considering you're on a borrowed bike.
Ebe.
Yeah.
Nice.
No brake pads at the minute, huh?
Ah.
We get through brake pads quick. You get through brake pads quick?
Not really.
No, because
I
you're a
don't
dry
ride in the
guy.
wet, yeah.
You're a dry guy, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Can make them laugh.
Yeah.
Mate, maybe it's the answer. Maybe I've been doing it wrong.
I think so. I mean, yeah, there's a fine line, I think, that you got to walk with
Yeah.
riding in the wet. I struggled this weekend. I looked out the window, I seen the rain like bouncing off roofs of cars, and I was like, I can't do it today. It's not, I mean,
It's relentless.
we
right
have
now,
tools
eh?
to clean, we got cleaning products, we got jet washers, but still,
Yeah.
it's just sometimes you just can't.
If it's generally raining outside, I won't even
No.
go out.
It's
No.
interesting.
But muddy, if it's not raining and it's muddy, yeah, whatever, I'll go out and ride. That's
I
fine.
consider
But
you as one of the most all-rounded. All-rounded? That doesn't really make sense. Well-rounded bike riders, but as long as there's no water involved.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are. You've done literally everything in my head.
Yeah, I've done pretty much everything on wheels, really, to be fair. So
Yeah.
Where'd you start on wheels?
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning, shall we? Ollie?
and
keep this a little closer, dude.
On this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Remember,
keep
two
it.
fingers
Two
away.
fingers away.
Keep it 2 fingers away. That's how we do it. I've been a big fan
Nice.
for a long time. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest, right? Copied the one for X. That's 100. My one for X is 100% Steve Geall copied.
Okay.
Wanted to do the Can X, never managed to get to that level. The Can X is Steve Geall special. Obviously, he's a table lord. I wanted the giddy table, and then if you think about it, I've done that all through my life, and then I still go to the trails, and I'll still be like, "Can I follow you, please, mate?" That's pretty cool.
That is cool. That's
Big
really
up.
cool.
Yeah, cheers. You know me, Ollie. I'm just normal guy, really. Like, I find that quite weird that people say that to me, because it's like, I
I copied your one for X.
yeah. It's not as good as mine now, but, you know.
It's not. And it isn't.
like-
I can't even. It's not as good as yours.
My thing was and we'll come back to this, no doubt. Orange Missile.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was that era. I think that's when I discovered like dirt jumping, and I wanted that bike so much
Was it
because
the
of you.
Superman, yeah. I got
Superman cover.
two in the same month on MBK and Dirt
In dirt.
the same month.
Nice, dude.
So which it was the same, pretty much the same picture, but I think the Dirt cover was better.
I remember
to
that
be
Orange
fair.
Missile was such a beautiful looking bike though. It looked really different to anything else that was on the market at that point. I think it had quite a chunky head tube. Is that? I'm trying to imagine it.
Yeah,
Quite
it was pretty
thick,
beefy. I think it's just
beefy.
it looked more
Is it
beefy
alloy?
on the smaller frames because it was a smaller triangle head tube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So smaller frames, so it looked more compact and
Yeah.
beefy.
It's like
But yeah.
a UK livery on it, almost like a
Yeah, like the logos. And
yeah,
stuff.
white, blue, and red. I remember that bike. I used to lust after that bike.
Yeah, it was a cool bike.
It's so sick. And I think Petey had maybe a silver one. Did he have a chrome one with black on as
Yeah,
well?
his
I remember
is
that
like a quadruple XL or something. There, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
super
looked like a
long
farm.
one.
That one did look like a farm gate. To be fair, that one did.
He was huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my earliest memory of you and watching you riding and stuff like that was definitely that bike as well. Like,
Yeah.
obviously style. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, I was back on like the Animal Times and stuff. Like back in the day, they were almost thinking about doing like a SIG frame, like
Right.
through Orange and stuff. It was that, or maybe possibly a shoe. I think at one point they were going to think about doing, but the shoes are. I can't really swear that much on it, can I? So,
yeah, you can swear. This is a late night edition, dude.
Is it?
Yeah.
The shoes are
We got
proper
wine.
shit.
Well,
Like, I mean, yeah, they had a choice of doing a frame or a shoe. I wore the shoe for a bit. I was on Vans at the time.
Yeah.
I wore the shoe and literally nearly killed me about 3 times. There's just no grip. There was no grip on the shoe.
What's this? A Vans shoe or
An animal shoe?
An animal
It's
shoe.
An animal shoe.
Right,
It's
okay.
one of the first shoes, bike specific shoes at the time, I suppose, back then. It was just nowhere near as grippy as the Vans and stuff. And so I just like pretty much said, I'm not going to wear that.
Yeah.
And at the end, everything fell through. Like didn't get a Siggy frame, which was pretty gutted at, because that would have been cool. Like the missile pretty much was Siggy frame, really.
Yeah.
But like,
did you help with that, like development of
not
it
at
or
all.
anything?
No. It was just there. So it was a good bike, and it's just suit the purpose at the time. Like with me on it, basically.
yeah.
But the shoe thing, I think they bought them out for a couple of years, and then just fell by the wayside. But yeah, that shoe was a waste of money, I think.
Really?
In my
I don't
eyes.
even remember if Animal made
shit.
a shoe in general. Did they make like a casual shoe? They must have.
I think it's like a surf type shoe,
Yeah.
like casual shoe or whatever.
Dude, I remember
Yeah,
they watch straps. And I remember they stunk, dude. I could... Yeah, I never had one.
A few
but
rides,
when
they were
people
honking.
had the watch straps, they used to smell so bad. Like,
Yeah.
like something that shouldn't smell that bad. You're like, your wrist.
Yeah, teenage boys have smelly wrists, and it was us that
I
were
guess
lusting
so.
after him
Yeah,
as well, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it all started, just through the watch straps and stuff, like Animal. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, really. And then it just obviously escalated from that.
But you started BMX, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like started racing probably from when I was about 11, 12 maybe.
Was it BMX racing first and foremost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Racing
yeah.
family?
Racing? No, not at all. Well, my dad used to ride motorbikes and stuff. Used to work at Rickman's bike company, old motorbike brand. And yeah, he wrote, I just got into it off the back of that. I sort of had a choice at maybe, I was into racing probably for 4 or 5 years. And I almost had a choice like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to ride bikes or do you want to do moto? And it was such a hard choice for me because I love motorbikes and I love riding the BMX. So I was quite torn, but in the end I just went down the whole BMX route, which I suppose I can't be too bad.
And what
really,
motor
and it's
was
good.
it? Like motocross? Or?
Yeah, motocross. Yeah. I just love that. Any time it come on the telly on like the grandstand and stuff back in the day, I was glued to it.
Yeah.
And my dad obviously did it and stuff, so I used to go to all the meetings with him, like the Hans Grand Internationals, all the old ones, all the British rounds and stuff. So he went to quite a few, and I just love it. Just I don't know, just the speed of it and the look of the bikes. The bikes I can still. Well, when I have my bikes, they're in the garage, but I can just go in there and look at them.
Yeah.
I just love the way it fucking looks. Love them.
Really,
But it's just that. But yeah, I did end up going down the BMX route.
So different as well, like how different it would have been like if you'd have gone and raced motocross with the like financial side as well.
Yeah.
And like the amount of dedication it takes as a family to go racing at the weekend, or a BMX, which is what, 200 quid probably for a top of the range one.
Yeah.
And not much.
Thing is, a lot of the bikes as well, because my dad was a fabricator, a welder. He made the bikes for me.
Oh wow.
So I had a couple
Siggy
of
frame.
sort of homemade bikes, as it were, like the first few I had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never really spent much money on BMX stuff.
Right.
My dad opened a BMX shop in New Milton, like BMX World it was called, and so I got a few frames through that. Only ran that for about 3 years.
Oh wow.
And then that sort of
So these were
Just
race
so-
frames? They were
race and sort of freestyle at the time.
Right, okay. What did freestyle look like at the time?
Freestyle was just your general racers that, on race bikes like TAs, and I think I was on a Patterson PR200, I think back then, and just riding the skate park. Like 15, 16, I was, all the school holidays, I was literally at a friend's house in Southsea, Mark Likely. And we used to just go to Southsea skate park, just ride the Geall, the big bowl there, 14
I've
foot
seen
deep.
pictures of you in
Satan's
the bowl,
toilet, and just ride that just constantly for 6 weeks, and then I'd come home to my parents. just literally live at his house for that long, you know.
Wow.
And then that got me into the freestyle. I went to a place, I can't remember what it was, it's like Hounslow or somewhere, a race meeting there, and I missed a moto because I was riding the quarter pipe.
Oh, really?
So I missed my racing, and like we went there, you know, drove the whole whatever it was 2 hours there, like just to not race and just for me just to ride a quarter pipe. So I did, yeah, and I preferred riding that because it was more of the racing stuff. I wouldn't say I got bored with, but at the time it got really hard. And I found that quite hard, and like my attention span on stuff like that is pretty limited.
Right.
And like if I'm into it, I'm into it. But if I'm just waving off a bit, I'm just can't be arsed with it. So like
a racetrack's not as interesting as like a quarter, for instance.
No.
Why do you think that is?
I really don't know. Like on a quarter pipe, I suppose it's just you. But on a track, there's 7 other people trying to take you out.
Yeah.
You know, and that the risk reward thing is a lot harder, like with the racing. But then you could put that into the ramp side because you're doing the tricks. Doing all the tricks is pretty gnarly on a quarter. You know, back then we had the ramps were pretty bad. Like when they first started, they're only like 6.5, 7 foot high. I think the BFA ramps were back then, and like, you know, Jamie, me, a few other guys, Jerry, Lee Reynolds, a few other guys, like, you know, regularly getting Carlo Griggs precisely getting easily 10 foot out of a 7 foot quarter. Now that's pretty nuts. Like that's high, and they were so whippy, and the speed, you know, sprinting across the wreck floor to hit it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. And like,
when you say whippy, they were just steep. Not
yeah,
much
I mean, a
transition,
7 foot
just-
quarter. I don't know what transitions would have been on them.
Yeah.
But they're pretty tight when you hit them fast. You know. So I mean, yeah, anything above sort of 7 foot on them ramps was you have to hit them pretty hard.
I've never thought about them like in terms of like numbers, 7 foot, and then what you can air out the top of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
not very numbersy with that stuff, but
yeah, I mean, Alfreton needs to be like Jamie's local. Back then, like if you get above the clock, it was 10 foot.
Really?
So there was probably 4 or 5 guys that could probably do that, and like I luckily enough to get in the above clock club, which was like the 10 foot, which is pretty cool. Like that's probably the highest I've got out of one of them quarters, to be fair.
wow.
Which is pretty nuts. But then Carlo goes at the Worlds, the Tizer Worlds in '88. I think in one of the practice, Carlo was getting, Jamie got high, but I'm not sure whether Carlo went a little bit higher, probably 14 foot out of like a 7-8 foot quarter, which is insane, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a picture of Carlo.
And this is like
going
the early days of sort of like
Of the
freestyle
freestyle.
BMX.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and when you say Jamie, you mean Bestwick.
Jamie
obviously.
Bestwick, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Wow.
Is this on
Simon
like
and that.
race frames or what was it?
yeah, Jamie was on a TA like back then. So
Yeah.
like, it's like, or a PK Ripper, I think, as well, he was on at one point, which, you know, was a sold out race frame.
Yeah.
So to hit ramps like that, you know, I mean, it's alley frame as well. Like, and back then, I wouldn't want to hit one of them quarters on an alley frame, you know, especially a race frame, quite lightweight.
Yeah.
The stresses on that must have been nuts. I was surprised there wasn't more breakages like on the frames.
Yeah.
God, man, it's actually nuts
That's
to
nuts.
think if throughout you riding a bike, you've come from that. Like those bikes are so primitive, right?
Mm.
And then back then, I'm sure that even back then they're even more.
Yeah, I mean, if you rode one now, they're so short.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're probably looking like a pro race frame back then was probably 20-inch top tube,
Yeah.
20 and a half maybe.
Yeah.
And you try and get on them now, they're tiny,
Yeah.
so tiny you couldn't ride it. Like a lot of the race frames now, like 22.5-inch top tubes. I think you know, like the top boys are riding, just so stretched out and low now. They've changed quite a lot, but everything evolves, so it's got to that point. But
So did you go from like race to freestyle just naturally, or did you ride for anyone at that point, or?
I rode for Curtis for quite a long time, for Brian and that. So I'd raced probably 4 or 5 years maybe. I had Curtis bikes, and then I rode a few other frames. I think I Redline. I rode a Patterson, and then when I had the Patterson, that was when I kept going to Southsea. So riding, and I did one of the first King of Concretes. I think like Hugo Gonzalez, like a lot of the Skyway team were there, like back in the day. And there was the Skyway Quarter there, and it's like, it's nothing I've ever ridden before. This thing's insane. So, you know, you sprint across the ice rink or the roller rink there and hit this thing, and it's like, wow, I can get pretty high on this. And I actually did really well at this King of Concrete thing, like airing, and people were sort of starting, I suppose, to sort of notice me there, but the locals knew I could ride at an all right level.
Yeah.
And that's when sort of Peter Hawkins sort of started, who was the Harrow team manager at the time, sort of like started noticing me. I did a few of the regionals and stuff, and I think it was at the Petersfield one, funny enough. I was on a GT, I think, back then, that Pete sort of spoke to me about riding for Harrow and stuff. So I think it was late 87. I got on the Harrow team.
Wow.
On the freestyle team, which was pretty cool. Like, I was
Who
stoked.
you on that with?
Back then,
I always imagined Bestwick on a Harrow, but maybe he never was. I don't know. I just always see that in my head. Let's say.
Yeah.
He's probably always doing GT.
No, but yeah, he was GT. He was KHE for a little bit as well. Sam,
okay.
I think that was after, because Jace Davis, who I used to ride with in Bristol quite a lot, he designed the beta frame KHE, but this was quite a little bit after, I think, the Harrow thing.
Right.
But yeah, and I rode a Sport back then. I think Harrow Sport, and yeah, it all just went from there. And it's like that was late 87, I think, and then 88 I won all of the British ramp rounds and won the British Championship there, and the same year I won the Worlds at the Tizer Worlds in Manchester, which it was a weird year, because I won quite a lot of stuff that year, almost achieved all my goals.
How old are you
in
at that point?
18.
Okay.
So in 88 when I won the Worlds, I was at 18.
Yeah.
And like, it almost, yeah, I don't know, it sort of, I wouldn't say ended my whole BMX enthusiasm, but because I'd achieved like the British thing and the world thing, it was almost like you egg yourself up to sort of like get to a point, and then, oh, I've got that, I've done it. So you have to try and look for something else. And
what were other people doing? Like, people were moving to the States.
Yeah,
to
Jamie.
chase that dream, right?
Yeah, Jamie Bestwick went to States.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, I could have gone, but it's not really what I wanted to do for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But yeah, I could have.
Yeah.
What did you, at the time, what did you think was happening? Like, did you feel like, oh, this is like a job? Was it like something that did you see yourself making money out of it? Or like what was the idea of being a pro rider like then? Was it something that was possible?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. You had to be pretty dedicated and stuff. It's not like it is today, I don't think, obviously, because the tricks have evolved so much.
Yeah. Like
the tricks, there's pretty gnarly tricks back then, but I was quite calculated with my stuff and like smooth, and like you'd pretty rarely see me go 8 foot to flat, if you know what I mean. Like, I'd always land on the transition.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of guys that were pushing themselves a lot more, and I was not really willing to do that. And because I'd won the world, it's like, well, I don't need to prove myself now, because I've got to that point where that I wanted to get to. So that's when I sort of started dabbling with a bit of mountain bikey stuff.
Okay.
And a bit of jump frames, and we did the Zimmer frame when I was riding. That was from 91, 92, and we did them for a couple of frames, which is like a couple of years of BMX.
What was that, your thing?
Yeah. Me and
great
Dad's
product
thing.
name too, right?
Yeah.
Sure, that's the best.
Solid, yeah, it's really solid.
But like, we ran them for a bit and sold a fair few, like probably 80 or 90 sort of frames, which is a fair.
Your dad
fair
making
few.
them? Or?
Yeah, me and my dad, yeah.
So sick.
But it just become not cost effective to do it. The tubes went up so much, and I think we were pretty much giving the frames away in the end of the day. You know, not making any money, so just knocked that on the head.
Yeah.
Then the whole mountain bike side sort of came along, and we sort of did the G Bikes jump frame, which was off the back of pretty much the Zimmer thing. So we still had the jigs and stuff left from that.
So you did G Bikes before picking up sponsors for mountain biking?
No, it was a bit mid. Hang on, no,
right,
it wasn't. It was after the animal.
So my first memory is of you on Giant.
Yeah.
And it was like sprung one sort of time, and seeing you in magazines, and then seeing you at races.
Yeah.
So how did you go?
That would have been like 97. No. Yeah, 97,
so
96. 96, 97.
But still, that's like there's a long period of time where you getting into mountain biking. How do you go from like quarter pipes then to being like racing downhill? Because like to me, it's so different. I can't even imagine airing out of quarter pipe on a BMX.
That just seemed more natural to me. It just seemed like the air in the quarter pipe just seemed more natural, and that was what I wanted to do. Like, so every second of the day, I just wanted to be riding the ramps. But when I was sponsored by, because I went from Kurtz actually to Rickman on the freestyle bike, and they had made their own fiberglass quarter pipes. So I had keys to this yard where I could go in, and there was a quarter pipe and trick ramp, and I could ride that when I wanted. So I'd take a few mates up there and we'd ride and stuff. So yeah, like I always had a ramp I could ride. Yeah. And I think after that, we had the ramp at Pennington in Turville's Nurseries. My friend Dan Turville, I used to sort of like skate with now and again, hang around with. His dad had like a nursery in Lymington, and we had a half pipe on there. I think it was like 8.5 foot high, 12 foot wide vert section that had a mini on the side, and I used to ride that a lot. Right. And I think there's a few pictures of Martin Noble took and stuff in a few magazines and stuff that popped up. It's a pretty exclusive little ramp because it was only 4 or 5 of us that really used to ride it. Like, you used to get in people, invite them in, and to ride and stuff. But that's where I learned a lot of stuff, to be fair. Like, and I got a bit, I wouldn't say I got bored with it, but I was quite into skating, like I said to you earlier. Like, I love skating. Like, I could watch skate videos like all the time. It's amazing. Yeah. And I went through a phase for about a year of not riding bikes.
Oh, really? And you were already a British champ?
Yeah. I rode like a bit of skate, did a bit of skating and stuff. So like, I got all right, like, but I just kept hurting myself, like broke my ankle, and it's like, I'm done with this, I'm going back to the bikes. So I went back to the bikes.
Can I ask quickly, what did it look like? Like, what did like a run look like? Because honestly, I don't know what you see, like old videos of like BMX, and it was obviously finding its way. Like, it wasn't like a set, like now there's so many different categories. Like, there was elements of like almost flat land, or was it just like you were saying earlier, like pedaling across and hitting one ramp? Like, how did like a contest look? What did it look like?
The first contest I'd sort of done was like, what was it? It was like some of the regionals, and then like the whole shot, which was like a big event. I think there was 2 or 3 of them in London. Okay. And you almost had a set trick list you had to do. Like, everyone had to do the same, but like same tricks in like a minute run. So you had like a kick turn or something, like a track stand, a boomerang, a tail whip. And this was like the first comp, so just to run through it. So if you did well in that, you got some good points and stuff, obviously. So they had like, it was a flatland sort of run and then a ramp run. Right. And then it got mixed together. So you'd do a bit of flatland or whatever, and then you'd have a bit of ramp in it as well. So you see like people like Carlo used to have a flatland bike set up and then have their ramp bike lent against the side. So like, they'd do their set flatland stuff, and then they get on the ramp bike and then just hit the ramps. So like, it's obviously like a different setup he had. Yeah. But, I always had the same bike for doing stuff, but I was crap at the flatland stuff because I just thought it was boring. So that's not me. I want to do stuff in the air, you know. Yeah. So I was just riding ramps like constantly. So the ramp comps was where it sort of went to for me.
And that would be a quarter and I'm sounding completely stupid, but I've seen pictures from that era, and it's hard to work out what a run looks like. Like, it's easy, you look at an X Games course or Olympics course now, and you can see what it's. Yeah,
the footage I've seen, it's like they take over a sports hall. Yeah, basically. And
that's what
a few ramps in the corners, and you pedal between them all.
Yeah. It was almost just like an extended half pipe with too much flat.
Yeah.
So you're airing, and then you're just cranking across the floor and hitting the next one, and then doing it again. But you just, obviously, the bad thing from that is you're getting so out of breath. Yeah. It's not like a half pipe where you use your momentum to pump. And that's obviously where that evolved too. Yeah.
Would there be straight airs as well, like a mini ramp or a box jump or anything?
No, nothing. It was just
so everything was
just 2 quarter pipes either end. Yeah,
mate, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that at all. Yeah.
And when you were saying you were riding skate parks, were they like that? Or was that
skate parks? No, they were completely different because it's all concrete. So they
were built for skateboarders.
Old skateboard, yeah. So there was like flow around and bowls.
Yeah,
I used to like that because, you know, you'd hit a quarter and it's just a set quarter. You just hit it and it doesn't change. Whereas bowls have got coping or it rolls off or like it's over and it's just, I like that because you've got to find the right bit to hit.
Yeah.
So you've got to know how the bowl works, sort of thing. So you know where you're going to hit. Oh, I'm going to take off at that crack.
Yeah.
Because that's the good bit of the bowl. You know, you hit somewhere else, it's like, oh, front and back will hang up. And it's like, well, I'm not going to hit that bit again. You know, and it's way more exciting.
Yeah.
You know, like the comps I got a bit burnt out with the comps because I did them for quite a bit. I'm used to riding like the bowls and stuff and weird, quirky little bits at skate parks and stuff. Right. But that's sort of like when I, you know, after the King of Concrete, it's probably the last ones, the BMX sort of comps I did were probably, I'd say 94. I'd like to say 95 was probably the last comps like King of Concrete, like mini ramp comps and stuff like that.
And that's when it was a bit more evolved as a sport.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, King of Concrete, King of Concrete
vibes
back then was pretty big.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And they
people
were
coming over from States probably as well.
Yeah, Dave Mirra. Loads of Americans come over as well. Hoffman, I think, was over for one of them. It's good because it sort of needed that, and it's cool that the Americans came over because they could see how big it was. Yeah, you know. But it's weird because I think I had a couple of pictures in some of the American mags, and it's just for me it was quite weird. Like I always thought it was quite one way. Like, you know, we'd see all the American stuff. But obviously, in America, they had the English mags, and they'd see what we were. So there's people over there that knew who I was.
Like it seems exotic,
and I was like,
sort of thing.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And when we went to the funny aspect of that, we went to the Worlds in Limoges it was me, Jason Davis, Mark Noble was in the car, I think, as well. Jim Burgess was in the car, and American Flatlander as well, Chase Guin, who was pretty big back then, Rev Homeless and stuff.
Right.
And Jace and Jim were riding for me on Zimmer. And this was it Limoges? When was that? It was 80, I think it wasn't 89. Might have been a little bit later. But anyway, and like this was on the Zimmers, and like this, the only three there, obviously, because we were there. But I remember leaving and coming back, and there was just this group of people around this area where our bikes were. I was like, this is really weird. And everyone was like, just fixated on these bikes, and I'm like, it's just a BMX. But they're like, it's quite different because it's more oversized tubes. It's the first bike with like inch stays rear end, and the chainstay went over the dropout, so it didn't twist doing ice picks on the back peg, and just loads of little stuff like that. It's been thought about, you know, like a lot of the bikes back then weren't thought, they were just put together. Yeah. And, you know, the stresses and stuff of where it broke it was overthought, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and there was just like all these, like probably 3 or 4 deep, like people looking at these bikes. It's insane. I couldn't believe it. And like I think Jason, Jim did all right and stuff. I didn't ride. I think I got a bit drunk. Standard. And back then anyway. But yeah, it was just a cool time. Like, and yeah, going back to that, because obviously like everyone was there, and Jason knew a lot of the American guys. He's been over there. And he's like, oh, we're just going to go out down the pub and stuff. Like, he's just going cool on a few guys. Anyway, I was like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. So, yeah, just wandering down the hall, and Jay bangs on the door. And a guy opens it, just walk in and sit on this bed opposite another bed. And I'm not really paying attention to me. I just had a few beers and that. And, like, sat down and I opened my eyes and looked up. And I'm like, fucking hell. It's like, yeah, Dave Mirra, Matt Hoffman, sitting opposite me. And I'm like, fucking hell, I don't know what to say. Wow. You know, I'm like, this is insane. But like, so down to earth. Like Dave Mirra, unbelievably down to earth. Like you wouldn't believe. Like, I mean, you've seen all the videos and stuff, and obviously maybe playing up a little bit. Yeah, like the gold and stuff like that towards the end. But like, you know, we'd go out, have a few steins, you know, and on the way back, he's running across car roofs, you know. It's like, what the hell? Like, you know, they're just bike riders. They're just, you know, they're just like
They're
me.
like you, but just
American.
Yeah.
And like we got on quite well. Like,
back
got
then
on
as well, it was like there was no social media and stuff, so you just saw these like polished versions in magazines and on videos and stuff. And I guess it's like, you never get to see just someone being normal.
No.
Yeah.
But like, and the week after, I think it was one of the last the last King of Concrete I did, and I was standing on the back of the Geall just watching the mini ramp, and I just felt really uncomfortable. I was like, my back's getting really wet. What the fuck's going on? I looked around and Dave Mirra's the other side of the bowl with a super soaker. And he literally just unloaded the whole thing on my back. And it's like, you know, like for him to sort of remember obviously me from the week before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just cool. Like it's cool. Like, and it's really cool to have met him, and like, you know, for what he did for the sport of BMX is insane, you know, like such a legend. Like,
our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every single day.
Same. I drink it literally every day as well.
And I have since they've become a sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah, man. And some say...
And a bit before.
Yeah, a little bit before as well. We did a little bit of a test, didn't we?
Yeah.
Some people have said that the podcast wouldn't be what it is without us being optimized, nutritionally sound, and just genuinely feeling better.
Dude,
But
absolutely.
I think that's probably true.
I tell you the biggest thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have all of these little pots and little boxes and powders and all of these different little vitamins and minerals and stuff and supplements.
Yeah.
I would take, and it would take me ages to get them all out of their little twisty bottles and their pipettes and their little tiny things.
Like Pac-Man in the kitchen.
And every day I had to do that.
Yeah, it's too much, man.
Dude, it's too much. Now I get up, I have my AG1.
Super easy as well, isn't it? Whether you're using a scoop out of the tin or you're using a travel pack. Shall I do a quick AG1 just to show you how easy it is?
Show how easy it is to cover all your nutritional bases, dude.
Okay. Here we go.
This is when it starts getting really good for audio listeners, isn't it? Because
really good for audio listeners.
Shall I explain what you're doing?
Yes, please.
Davey's just taken one of the travel packs, which we'll get more onto later on. He's tipping it actually not even into his shaker. He's just doing it into a glass because he doesn't even have his shaker with him because he used it at home this morning. So he's now, he's just, this is a remix, dude. This is a remix.
Okay.
Can you explain the remix?
Yeah, okay. Some people choose to use water. Tap water is absolutely fine. Just some of that. We got some of that. You know, you can pour a little bit of water in there like this.
Yeah, okay. He's pouring the water. Yeah, he's pouring
What I like to do though, Ollie, is I like to use coconut water. It's ever so tasty, and it's even better if it has a yellow sticker on it.
There you go.
So so I'm going to put some coconut water into this.
Right. I'm going to go through some facts whilst you're mixing that up. AG1 replaces your multivitamin, probiotic, and more in one simple, drinkable habit. Science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients. AG1 is raising the standard for quality in the supplement category. It helps you build your health foundation first, and you probably can hear Davey stirring that up right now.
Yeah, it's stirred, mate. It's ready to go, and that's it. It's as simple as that, dude. You literally put your packet in, or your scoop, a little bit of water or coconut water if you choose to, and then you know you're going to be nutritionally sound throughout the day. Okay, I'm just gonna have a quick swig.
Have a swig.
All right.
Can you hear him? He's enjoying it. In case you're not watching, he is enjoying it. Covering his nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why Davey trusts AG1. Isn't that right?
That's correct, dude. So, if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D or vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase.
Pretty good.
Go to drinkag1.com/ride companion. That is
drinkag1.com/ride companion.
Okay, that's drinkag1.com/ride companion. And right there, you will find out how to get your free travel packs, free vitamin D, delivered to your door, nutritionally sound, ready to be optimized, ready to kick ass in the world. It's as easy as that. All the details are in the show description. So what are you waiting for? Support the podcast and get involved.
All right. Thanks, AG1.
Thanks, AG1. So yeah, what I was going to ask is, at that point, like, do you know you're in a scene that's evolving, or it's a really hard question to ask because I guess at the time you might not. But I guess if you were to put it into today's terms with mountain biking, it's evolved. It's got a history, whereas that's like so new and everything's just new and fresh and tricks are new. Does that make sense? Do you like?
Yeah,
Do you know it's happening and do you realize you're a part of it?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that were pushing it a bit more, and that it did evolve quite quickly at some points. Obviously, when someone started, I can't remember who did the first flips or whatever, but back then, if you could do a flip in your run, you won.
Wow, yeah.
But it was like, whoa, everyone was amazed that not going to do any more tricks. Flip, that is it. No one's going to do any more tricks, and then it's double flip. Like Mirra did double flip on that
Mirra's
big
the
round.
first double flip guy, right?
I think he was, back in the day. On that as a big jump box at a comp in Chicago or somewhere.
Wow.
Like it did a big double.
Yeah.
I think at X Games he did a double flip as well, like back in the early ones. But yeah, it went from that, like, oh, if you can do one, you can do two. It's like people did it. It's like, whoa, and like 360s, if people doing 360s, like cool. And like add some tricks. Now someone's done a 720. It's like, whoa. It's like, what are you gonna do now? It's like, and then it's just escalated from there. It's weird how it goes from just a flip to like a 360 flip or two flips, or even that now. Was it 3 or 4 they're doing now?
Yeah.
Dude, it's hard for something to be as exciting. That's what I think people
In infancy.
People refer to like golden era, and it's like, how can it possibly maintain that level of like newness and excitement?
But I think we experience that now with, for me, like some of those action sports now, because it's too unrelatable.
Dude,
whereas I don't know, I can't remember back then, but it almost felt like, okay, yeah, maybe I could do an X up 1 foot, like maybe I can do that, and that's kind of like one of the tricks that people are trying to aim for, or whatever it could be. But now you're just like, I ain't doing.
For me, the BMX, the prime time for me, the BMX thing was like the Matt Hoffman videos. Like you had Head First and Ride On, I think it was, and like they, to me, like Hoffman and Mirra riding that indoor warehouse, the Hoffman warehouse, was the peak.
That's
for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there was a lot of tricks. Like Matt was doing like 3 or 4 tricks in one air, but they weren't super quick. They were like, you could see what he was doing.
Yeah.
And like some people were like, you do see air, like, and they're just like really quick, and it's like, But like Hoffman was doing like no foot candy bars to no foot cans and all in one air. It's like, that's sick. Like, and it was at 10 foot.
Yeah.
And for me, that's BMX to me. Like now, I watch BMX now. I was saying to you earlier, like,
we almost don't recognise it as something.
I don't know. It's evolved. Yeah, it's not my. Don't get me wrong. I know how hard it is. That's unbelievably hard to do some of the stuff like Kieran Riley and the guys now doing stuff. But it's just not. I don't like the look of it. If you know what I mean. There's too much going on. Like, okay, you can do a tail whip, but like
too trampoline.
There's too many. I think like the last one I saw, I think Kieran did like. It must have been like 15 tail whips in like a run. It's like, I know, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It is hard. And especially the other stuff he's doing with the whip, it's just insanely hard, but it just doesn't look good to me. It's not, I'm at that age where it's like, I want to see someone blast a quarter and do a massive table.
Yeah.
That to me is BMX.
Yeah.
I love it. But obviously the evolvement of it has come to this. And it's like, it's hard to know how it's going to get any further, but it obviously will.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's coming next.
That's the thing as well. In the earlier time, like you can almost see that trajectory. You can see like, okay, we can see how it goes further. I don't know. I feel like for years I've been going, well, this is it. You can't go more than this, but it seems to just keep
someone to do something,
creeping that little bit. It's just not as quick, is it? That progression. It's just slowing down. Slowed down.
It is funny. If I think of BMX, I think of street now.
Yeah,
which is interesting. And there's like I remember when street first almost happened or started gaining popularity. I was just like, I mean, you can just do 180s and bar spins. I can't think of how it can go anywhere, but it really has, and it's mega impressive. Oh. But it seems a long way from you airing out of a quarter and South Sea Bowl, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there was street riders back then.
Was there?
back then. Yeah, there was a few, like they mainly just rode street.
Rails.
Yeah, rails and stuff like that. But it's not, that wasn't really my thing. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously still is now, like people, but they're more, I'd say they're more rounded. Like now they can pretty much ride everything.
Oh man, Ennison is
just
absolute,
I was going to say
yeah.
Dennis Ennison, Garrett Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like some of his street moves are, are insane.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable how you can go from like a downward ice pick, a backward ice pick, down a rail to 180 out. I mean, it's like, that to me is hospital. I'd just be lying there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's crazy, some of the stuff. Like Ennison, Rob Wise, when his ender in the Demolition video is so good. Like, and he's like a proper nice guy. When I rode a bit of like for Demolition when I was doing a bit of BMX back then for Elephant Distribution. Old Steve Bancroft and Russell Lowe. I don't know if you know about Banners. He used to take pictures of a ride. They did like the distribution of like Demolition for a little bit, so I was like a little thing with those, and we did a tour, and just me and my mate just jumped on that, and yeah, met a few of the guys and stuff, and it's pretty sound. Like Rob's pretty sound, Rob Wise was pretty sound, and a few guys like Michael Jordan was there, like MJ, and it's just, yeah, it was just real good times. It was real fun times.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could see like but yeah, Ennison now is probably the most all-rounder, can do pretty much anything. He's insane.
Yeah,
it is, isn't it? At what point then in BMX, so we've sort of, you've done all of this sort of ramp stuff where it's just flat sports or with ramps on the outside, and you've done a load of South Sea bowl riding, stuff like that. At what point did you go to dirt? Because BMX in my head when I was younger was dirt.
Yeah.
It was proper like Fuzzy Hall, TJ Lavin, Mike Aitken.
Yeah. It's right. Yeah, it wasn't really dirt jumps around ours, but obviously used to do a bit of jumping and stuff. We set up like a wooden board on some oil drums and shit and do some jumping off, stuff like that. And then I think there's some dirt jumps, just very primal, just piles of lump that you jump and stuff. Like it just evolved from that. Like we used to go around and like ride a few more trails and stuff, and then it went to like, I think used to ride Bar End. There was some trails. That was a fair long time ago. Like you ride them, and then
it's still going.
Yeah, still going. There's a bit of a revamp coming on. Yeah, which is cool. But yeah, just ride a few local sort of spots, and we had our own little spot for a while and stuff, and then yeah, just sort of, I don't know, the BMX. I had a bad time back, and my back was really bad. And this was probably, I'd say around 2000. I'd moved to Frome, and my back it wasn't good. And like every time I rode my BMX, I either put my back out or I literally couldn't do anything the next day.
no way.
So I got a mountain bike and was riding a mountain bike for a little bit, and thought it's pretty cool, I can ride that. And my dad, we did the G bikes thing was around. That would have been just after the Zimmer stuff, obviously. So I'd say it's 93, 92, 93 maybe. And yeah, we made a 24-inch jump bike. Wow. Sponsored Grant and Olly Fielder and stuff. So like they rode for me and stuff. But yeah, I rode that for a bit, and my back issues went away. And I was like, wow, maybe I should get a bit more into the mountain biking side of things. So that's where I got, because it's from BMX, like the next step for the mountain bike thing, obviously mountain bikes never rode skate parks or quarter pipes, they just rode jumps. So I just got into the jumps and just rode jumps, and it's like, this is for me.
Yeah.
I love this. So
how did you get on Giant from there then?
We're riding just with the locals. Steve Kitchen like made up a little team that he had. Got a little deal with Animal. Yeah, and got on it through that. I think we were riding Jamis bikes, I think, initially. So, like, yeah, that was the first team we sort of on.
And you were racing for them?
Yeah, we did some races, all the like the pedal hounds and the Sams and stuff, like all the initial stuff.
That's, I think, when I first saw Steve. Flesh. Yeah, dude.
So, yeah, but, like, I think it was...
Sorry, did you instantly take the BMX style of riding, though, to a mountain bike?
Yeah.
You didn't adopt a different style or anything? It was just like...
I was just... Well, I'll get on... There's a little bit before that.
Okay.
But it might have been around the same time, to be fair. Or was it the year after? It might have been the year after I first started. Because I'd go to the races, and I'd literally just dick around on the jumps, and no one else would. There wouldn't be many people there doing any jumps, and if they were, it's just like a kick out or something like that. And I'd just be doing some of my BMX tricks, and everyone was like, "Whoa, who's this guy?" And I'm like, "You're weird. I'm just doing my normal stuff on a mountain bike."
And this is like a downhill race, or whatever it was.
I think it was at Liphook.
Right,
dude. On that step up.
That step up, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like literally, that jump was a means for my race. My race run, I'd be like, I want to get the jump. And I'd trick the jump and probably lose about 3 seconds or something. But that was what I was about. Sick. And then, it just went from there. And then I got a hardtail giant the next year when, we had the giant animal team. And the hardtail. And I did a thing at Slough BMX track. And that was with urban camos, the old urban camos on. And
nice, dude.
That started quite a big thing. A load of people wore that for some reason. And strange. And but it was almost like a trademark thing. Okay. It was weird. Like it was weird I rode them thing, and like a few people did the same. But I did all my BMX tricks on a mountain bike, big can X ups. And there was I think I had like a 4-page article on MBUK. It's like New Kid on the Block type thing doing all this. And I was like,
so sick.
This is weird though. It's like they just don't get it. Like, it's just me doing my stuff on a mountain bike.
Yeah. So you were the first, like, no one else made that transition from BMX over and just thought, there's a market there. I just love the idea of being like the first at something. It's so hard to be.
I don't know whether I was technically the first, but I suppose
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, for sure one of them.
Yeah.
But I think I was doing a few more tricks than a lot of people back then.
Who else? Todd Lyons?
Todd Lyons would have been...
He did some mountain biking.
Yeah. I know Tabron dabbled a bit, but that was, I think, bike 98 or something. So it's probably 2 years after I started.
Right.
I think of it like thing. Paul Roberts as well.
Yeah,
As soon as you said Slough, I remember Paul Roberts snapping head tubed in that gap.
Yeah, Paul. And I think there's a few other guys that sort of rode, but didn't dabble. They stayed BMX.
Was there like stigma attached to mountain biking then and BMX? Because
initially, quite big. Like, they didn't want big wheels at the trails, BMXs.
Yeah.
And it just got pretty bad at a few points, like, which, I sort of get, but at the end of the day, it's a bike. And it's no different. It's just bigger wheels. I know some people rode like knobblier tyres that rip the lips up a little bit more. I get that, but I always fix the stuff I rode if it did anything happen and stuff like that.
Right,
big
cases, from that whole
cases.
Trail thing with BMX, and you'll probably know more as well. Like,
what about
mountain bike and BMX thing with trails? Because there was a thing.
Funny, isn't it?
Well,
I guess there were just loads of kooks. So mountain biking just had loads of kooks that didn't build.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, everyone always makes out like
riding over things.
Yeah, everyone makes out it's like elitist, but all it is just make a pile of dirt 6 foot high and then make it all perfect and then watch someone else smash it. It doesn't really matter what bike you're on.
No.
Yeah.
If they smash it, you're annoyed with them. That's what I kind of think. And like probably back then there were more people smashing and not fixing.
There was a lot, a lot of casing.
Yeah. It was like a newer sport, I guess, and not defined.
I find it funny how it is, or as BMX have been doing it for like years before, and then someone gets on a mountain bike but doing the same tricks on a mountain bike, how that's a new sport. It's just a bike.
But then slopestyle now, you can't be argued with, can it? Slopestyle now is so, like, there isn't a BMX dirt equivalent, if you know what I mean.
No, because the X Games dirt, I probably was one of the last, and that was, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
But
that
they're
wasn't
not
as
as
substantial, was it? As
that's
like joyride and stuff.
No, it's more trails.
Yeah.
Which is how it should be. I think like a BMX comp should be like that.
Like
the
flat.
mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
But the mountain bike stuff, it needs to be more slopestyle, for sure. Like, and how that's evolved is insane. Like, really, like the features and stuff that gets used now, and like the size of the jumps, is nuts.
Yeah. And it's really cool when you see. I know Ennison did a podcast with Semenuk, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did. And just when you
Yeah.
see like there's crossover, because it used to be so one way when I was a kid.
Yeah.
All of my like, I'd look up to people that were almost exclusively BMX when it came to trails and ghillie. It was like there weren't really many mountain bikers with stees, were there? There was like, I guess Donny was quite stylish.
Yeah, Donny was back then.
Because like Luke Smith, I remember looking up to Luke Smith
yeah.
a lot, but he had like a moto. He wasn't really like trails style, was he? He was like,
Yeah, he was quite moto. Yeah, because he went in, well, obviously into moto and stuff.
yeah.
Anyway,
And then you'd watch like Lopes riding Sheep Hill.
Yeah,
But again, it was like a racer style. There wasn't like, I feel like you had a trail style,
a BMX,
more
trail
BMX style on a mountain bike. Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, it's just transferring the BMX trick style, as it were, onto the mountain bike, which is it's not as easy as it seems, because like obviously it's a lot bigger bike to try and move around.
And suspension then as well, or no?
Just front suspension.
Yeah.
But even not, because the top tube was high, like you had to get your leg a lot higher to get it over the top tube, and just stuff like that. It made stuff a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So I suppose I can see how people construed it as being a lot harder, because it sort of was really to do the tricks. But I didn't see that in my head. It's just like, I'm just doing my BMX. I just couldn't get how everyone's freaking out. Like, and then obviously we went to bike. Was it 97? Bunny hops.
I didn't
Is
say
that your
anything.
cue?
I didn't say anything.
That's,
I nearly wrote it on the board before we started recording, but we didn't. So are we in Bunny Hop chapter now?
yes, that was off the back of that, just from the bike show, basically.
Yeah.
Like we had to ride in. There was a jump thing there. I think it's like they had a long jump thing, and they have obviously the bunny hop thing there.
Yeah.
And I think like Dave Hemming and had like, I think he had the European record or something silly like that. It was like 40, was it 40 or 38 or something? I don't know. I can't remember. But
You just
I just beat it first. Yeah, first time just beat it. Like it was like 40.
What was it? Just over a
It's just a bar. Yeah,
bar,
set bar. Yeah.
traditional. And what was the approach? Just ride at it,
Just
or were you side?
No. It's
hopping
the
out
trials
at
side. Martin used to do the side hop stuff,
Yeah.
and they used to get pretty high, to be fair.
it? Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't do that, so I was just straight at.
Okay.
But yeah, that was, I forgot what was it, 40. I think it was 40, 41.
So you Guinness
40.
World Record then?
Yeah, 1 year. It's for a year, I think it was.
Nice.
So sick.
And
And no training, just did it.
41.5 inches, I think.
Almost
it was.
by accident.
It's the world. Yeah, it's just something I was all right at. But from BMX again, because hopping up onto stuff, it's just I knew what to do, and like, yeah, it was just easy.
Could you hop it now?
Nah,
I don't even know
not
how
that
big that
high.
is.
I could hop over fairly. It's handlebar height, so
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
it's probably about this
Yeah, I
high. But then
couldn't
you
get
see
over that.
guys now like hop ridiculous.
hey, how weird is it? I don't understand this, right? Hopping over something versus hopping up
Onto
something. Why? Why is that different? Explain the science, please.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it because you put your front down and then let the back follow? Whereas hopping over it, you have to fully clear it. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, if I was going to hop up something, that's how I'd do it. It'd
think-
be front wheel on and try and almost use the front brake to get up. Yeah.
It's just more forgiving
Yeah.
when you're not hopping onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You're not trying to get onto something, so that
I guess it's the same as like a table
Takes-
or a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of
Yeah,
people
true,
will
yeah.
think of it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like, oh, I'm not hitting that jump. But if you had a board on the middle of
Yeah.
it, you'd be like, yeah, go on, I'll give it a shot.
So your bunny
They're
hop,
the
when you were bunny hop world champion of the world,
Mm.
of the, some say the universe,
yeah.
how big, the bike shows were massive then, right? I mean, I was
Yeah.
there, dude. I remember it. It was
They were massive, yeah, real big, like 2 floors, wasn't it? Olympia, was it Olympia?
2 floors. I don't remember.
Where was it,
I don't
first
think I was
one?
at that one.
But yeah, they had the half pipe and
I mean, I remember
everything.
it being so big.
yeah,
So
it was massive.
huge, yeah.
So many people there, it was ridiculous. Like it's not, it's like where's that gone?
Yeah.
Like bike shows now are just like nothing really, are they? Like
very
compared to
different.
what it was. I mean, even the first Malverns, like when I did the world record there, I think that was it 46.5, wasn't it? 46.5?
That was a bunny up world record at the
I
Malverns.
think it was,
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah, it's mental. There's so many people. Everyone's going mental.
Mm.
It's like just a bunny hop.
I remember the Malverns.
Crazy.
The Malverns table. It's so funny. Like I remember the Malvern's
Is that the one they
table,
glossed?
You did a whip over it, the gloss white
The gloss,
one.
yeah. Then it rained.
And you did a
real
whip
slippy.
over it. I only saw it on video, but like the fact that that's like imprinted in my brain, I think so interesting.
Nice.
Like it's well cool having podcasts and having people on and like you explain those like small things. It makes me realise I really like biking actually because they're like
It's so
my
impressionable
mind.
on you.
Dude, so in your mind, and like
Yeah.
there's so many people that will have had that, which is sick.
The one that always gets put up is the little road double they had one year, dirt double.
right, yeah,
There's doing a can over it on the ATX
yeah.
with like I think I got Harrow trousers on or something,
Nice.
something like that. Like and it's like
What is it? A photo?
it's sort of iconic. Yeah, like a lot. It
so
gets used
sick.
for a lot of stuff. Like,
Really?
yeah, the Malverns used it for like big advertisement and stuff, and it's crazy really, but it's a cool picture. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
rad, and it's cool to be part of that sort of thing, and it's because no one else was really doing tricks like then. Like Will Longdon and I suppose like thingy Andy Parks and
Yeah,
all
Jamie
them.
Tompkins.
Yeah, James Tompkins.
And Paul Roberts, I get. That,
Yeah.
that was the same era, wasn't it?
Yeah, when he
Where
was
it's
on
just
Diamondback
one
and stuff.
jump, and you just
Yeah.
crank at it. And
Yeah, just hit it. But it was good times back then, like really good. Like, and it was good to have a different sort of way to go direction because the BMX thing I was getting a bit burnt out with and I couldn't ride because of my back. So that direction was really good for me. But at the same point, I almost the motocross thing's always been there, and like obviously I've dabbled with it a bit, and I never got the back problems with that.
Right.
But it's just finding the time to do that and having the time to do it. It's a lot different to riding a mountain bike.
Yeah, for sure.
Sundays you go riding, you come back and it's like clean filters.
Yeah.
Next day clean. It's like it just takes so long. And whereas mountain bike, you just ride it, put it away.
Yeah. So
Hose
true.
it off, put it away,
Yeah.
and it's easy.
Yeah.
what point did you go full time? After the ad break. Hey, Davey.
Yeah.
Steve's here.
Yeah.
Our guest.
Yeah.
He's still here, and we're doing an ad break.
He
And
didn't want to miss it.
He didn't know he was going to be involved, but we couldn't not have him in here.
No, couldn't not.
Can you tell me about what Steve always wears?
Steve always wears.
He
Steve always wears black.
Steve always wears black.
Yeah.
And can you tell me what day it is?
It's probably Wednesday, Thursday, or it could be
Black Friday. That's right. And Compex have some offers for you.
They have some epic offers for you.
Dude, the Black Friday promotions will run from Monday the 20th of November till Monday the 27th of November.
Got 7 days to get your deals in.
Dude, that's enough time. You can pick up yourself key units such as the Compex SP 8.0. Anything else?
Mate, there's 4.0. Let me just tell you, though, about the SP 8.0 real
Please.
quick. All right, that is down from a whopping £949
Yeah.
down to 664.99. The point, bit of weird to say point. Not many people say point, but I'll go with it anyway.
What do you say normally instead?
Dot.
Dot, okay.
Yeah,
We'll go with dot.
Yeah, but 664.99. And the best thing about that is obviously you can get a bit of extra deal, but we'll tell them about that at the end.
Let's keep them going with the Black Friday sale because honestly, there's so many. There's the
many.
Fix 2.0.
There is the Fix 2.0.
Which is something that both of us use on the regs. You've probably seen us in previous adverts talk about it. Have you seen us? No. Mate, it's
you have. It's been that has appeared in so many ads and it's staple in our house.
It is.
And
mine.
Yeah, of course. And that is down from $379.99.
Already a steal.
Already a bargain.
Already a deal.
Down to $174.99. I don't know what that is as a percentage, but it's epic.
But that's quite simply, hey, look,
almost
I'm not
half
a
price.
business manager. I'm not a consultant, but that's simply too low, dude.
It's almost metaphorically low. That's not a word. Meteorically low.
Hey, just use any old word. It's too low.
You're
right.
I'm so taken aback by
know,
these
right?
offers, I can't even speak properly.
The thing is, they can't get any lower, can they, Davey?
Well, they can.
How?
All you have to do is head to compex.com, all right?
/UK.
/UK.
Yeah.
Find some products you want, something that's going to make your life a little bit better, maybe a Christmas gift for someone that you really, really love, okay?
Nice idea.
Go through, enter the code The Ride Companion. What is it?
Is that in capitals?
It is in capitals. But
The
what was it?
Ride Companion.
That's right. And
What's that going to offer?
It's going to offer you a massive 10% extra discount off the already metaphorically discounted prices. Meteorically.
Meteorically. It's so low, I agree. You can kind of put any word in there.
Yeah.
Because it's that low.
Elephant.
Can you do the maths on what the Fix 2.0 will be with 10% off? You know how to do, you can do 10%.
What was it
This
to start off with? Here we go. Real-time maths, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm going to do countdown music whilst you do this.
Because so embarrassing. So it's going to knock you £17.49 £17.49 off that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Extra. Off the already 50%.
Honestly, it seems too low. Again, I'm not a business consultant.
Probably go and check it out for yourself. Do your own maths.
Yeah, give it a go. Enter it on the website because I think that can't be right.
Yeah, I think it can't be right. It's too good, isn't it? Oh, look, it tells you there at the end. It's actually 54% off. So then you're going to put our 10% off the top of that. It's a steal, mate. It's a deal. It's sale of the century.
It is. Head over to www.compex.com/UK. What code do they enter?
The Ride Companion.
Get amongst the Black Friday sale. Thanks, Compex.
Thanks, Compex.
And we're back.
What an ad break. That was one of the best.
Were you impressed with that?
That's probably the longest.
You'd probably buy that as well, wouldn't you?
Every time.
All of
Would
them.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a sick
Hold
one.
you to that.
That's a sale we got. Bit of buns in the old back burner.
They done sent me back a lot. That's all I can say.
Right. Before the ad break, we think the question was, when did you first go full time? We think.
I love that it
think it was.
probably isn't.
Yeah.
And like people are like, oh, I
But I
can't
think
wait
it's
for that question.
I tell you
It's something
what.
totally different.
Yeah.
I think
we
it
were talking
was.
about foot size before the break.
Stop.
Wouldn't you love to know what we talk about during the ad breaks? Like I always used to think that, like when you watch the news or whatever. You know,
I love it when they leave the camera on.
Yeah, they leave the camera on. The titles are coming down, and they're just like talking to each other, and they've got their notepads.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what they're talking
Like
about.
shuffling the bits of paper
Yeah.
and stuff. Or like
It'd be so good, wouldn't
look
it?
like
to
they're
know?
doing something. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you?
97, I think.
97. Okay.
Jobs
Some-
before 97. Can you list them? Just 'cause I
Jobs
think it's
before.
yeah.
Bloody hell. I obviously left school. Did
16?
surveying.
Surveying.
Did some surveying, holding
Interesting.
poles.
Okay. Yeah.
Not very interesting. Quite good money though.
Yeah.
So that was
Good bit of
nice.
Bit of buns in the back burner.
And I could ride the ramps at Rickman's at the time, so that was cool. Then I did a bit in a bakery. Then I was
Cheese straws. Can we elaborate on the
donuts.
bakery section? Donuts. Okay.
Don't get me started on donuts.
Circles. Didn't like the
Donuts.
straight lines, just circles.
No, donuts.
Okay.
Jam.
Jam.
Jam
How do
them
you
on,
Get the jam. in
pump
the
the
donuts, dude.
Just
You
jam
pumped
on a
it.
spike, pump the jam in.
It's on a spike.
Yeah,
I figured
I
it
used
with
to
a
do.
syringe.
I think they fired me because I did double pumps
Oh,
You
rather
bad
than
man.
single.
You know
Hey.
he did the double pumps. I
You
wish
know.
I had a Steve Geall double pump donut.
love a good jammy donut. Oh.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that and then a labourer. Did a lot of labouring and stuff
Yeah,
to get a
same
bit of
here.
cash and stuff. Still riding the BMX at the time and what have you.
yeah.
And then I think it went from there. I went to Mitchell Walkman Electrowines, which is like doing stuff for MOD, like
Oh, wow.
resistors and transmitters and things like that.
Oh.
Did that for quite a bit, and then then that's when the whole mountain biking sort of thing started.
Yeah.
A bit of riding. I think I had a bit of time off. Like didn't really do much, bumming around with a mate. You know, go and get your job seekers allowance and
Yeah. Cool.
go and spend it all on yogurts up at Safeways.
Say no more. Say no more, dude.
Yeah, as you do. And then
Tiger bread and yogurts.
Yeah.
That's-
They go yogurts, yeah, bagels and yogurts. I think it was,
Yeah,
actually.
nice.
Bagels, yeah.
And and then I think it was 97, dabbled with the team. I think it was 96, and we just got the bikes and stuff, so I wasn't full time. I think 97, we went to Giants. That was when I started getting a wage and do
Right.
stuff. I think it's 97 and 98 did a few World Cups and stuff as well, which was
Right.
it's pretty
Down.
eye opening. Yeah, it's awesome, absolutely awesome. But obviously the bikes back then weren't awesome too much. But like the 990s, the ATXs and stuff were pretty good. Yeah, I did. I think some of the better
Was
results.
it just a given that if you got a mountain bike, you went and did a World Cup?
No, not at all.
How does
no.
that go? You go from park rat to that, like...
Obviously, we'd done a few downhills and
Okay, so
did
you
all
did a
right.
few. Okay,
Yeah, won a
alright,
couple and on the podium fairly regularly.
Okay.
The national side, like the RAV4, I think it was back then.
Yeah.
NPS points.
Yeah.
Mountain Bike Britain.
Yeah, Mountain Bike
TV.
Britain. Like, did okay.
Mad
Not.
to think, innit?
Yeah.
I thought, to be honest, I went into it thinking I could do fucking well at this,
Mm.
Yeah.
and then realised you had to be fit.
You're like, stand back, let me do a 1 foot exercise.
Yeah.
Look at these people,
Yeah.
they go mad for it. They're
Walking-
frothing, it's
yeah.
insane.
Do you want to do a track walk? Yeah, right. There's no fucking jumps on this track. What the hell am I going to do?
What is this walk?
Yeah.
It's boring,
Rubbish.
man.
But like, yeah. So it came to that, and it was just,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool, yeah, all right. We did a few and did some good results, got some all right results. I got a podium. I think I was third in elite one year.
Yeah.
Behind I think Tim Pont in Chris Whitfield.
Yeah.
Um,
So back then there was like dual races as well, wasn't there? There was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so basically you were a mountain bike racer. You were just a gravity mountain bike racer. You didn't do cross
Yeah.
country. You would
I
only
did
down.
do some cross country early times. Like,
Did ya?
yeah, I did sports class, sport
Right.
class. I think I got a couple of top tens and stuff,
Nice.
which is all right. Like, good level of fitness.
Mm.
See, I love it. The fact it's like it reminds me of on any Sunday.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
know,
you
you
like-
a bit of everything.
Yeah, yeah. You
Really
do just
cool.
bits and bobs. Yeah.
But yeah, the downhill side obviously was more interesting to me. The four cross thing was way more like BMX, so
Right.
it sort of appeared to me, and I did all right. I think I was Masters four cross champ in 2000
Yeah.
for Fort William. So yeah, that was pretty cool, and like another sort of string to bow, as it were, another result, which was good. Yeah, we did. I think I did about 4 or 5 years or 4 years of World Cups.
There you go. You travelled a lot with that.
Yeah, travelled all around the world. Yeah, like
Right.
I was at Giant, Mongoose, Spooky,
Yeah.
or Spooky 99, I think it was. And did like all the American stuff, and yeah, it's awesome. Like, it's some really good times. Like, the World Cups are insane. And back then, it was way more loose than it is now. Like, you know, there was more people sponsored back then, and it was more, I don't know, it's way more regimented now, and like to get a ride is a lot harder. So
Yeah.
you've got to be seen to be doing the right thing. And like
Yeah.
what with the whole cameras and social media now, thank Christ we didn't have it back then. That's all I can say. You know, it was pretty funny. Like, there was some funny stuff went on.
Give us your best story.
Not
What you
gonna
got?
say too much.
What springs to mind? Like the best story from that era and travelling, being on the World Cup scene.
Yeah, like who are your homies then?
Yeah.
Who you
There's
like-
quite a few. Well, it's obviously the Brits used to hang out with each other and stuff like that. So obviously like Petey Warner.
Mm.
Warner always used to play up, obviously, like, you know, like he does. Yeah, Pages, hang out with Pagey. All the Irish, really, you know, Glyn O'Brien
Yeah.
and all that lot. So yeah, it was a fun group of people. Like, they weren't, you know, we're going out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
out. And it
Before the race.
got pretty messy. No.
After the
No,
race.
always afters, yeah.
Okay.
Because it was like, I think the World Cups were on like the Saturday, sometimes on the Sunday, but they'd cross over. So, and the British ones, you'd have the downhills before the cross country. So the downhill would end, and then everyone would kick off, and the cross country guys didn't like it because they were racing the next day, so
Right.
they couldn't get any sleep, and they'll kick off. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, there was, I think, best sort of results and stuff back then. Me and Pagey was probably at Nevergale. It's one of the first ones I did, probably on the ATX1. Qualifying, come up top 70 qualified basically, and it was wet as hell. Funny enough, Ollie, and
Last time you rode in the wet.
literally was the last time I rode in the wet. Yeah. And you know, we come down, and I thought, oh, that's fucking awful. I said to Pagey, how do you reckon you got on? He said, it's fucking awful, really bad. Anyway, looking at results, I thought we're going to be not even qualified on that. So you'd look up there, and it's like 70s, no, 60s, no, 50s, no, 30s. What the hell? Like, I think I was 31 or something.
No
And
way.
Pagey was 22nd. This is in qualifying, and I'm like, game on. Like, if I
Yeah.
can not paddle that whole 300-yard section, you know, I'm on for a good one here. Anyway, I thought, right, my bike's going to be the best it's going to be. Took it to Hope, I think it was, and they did the brakes and rock shocks. Tim Flukes did the forks and stuff, and the
Yeah.
bike was pucker. It's probably the best setup bike I probably ever had.
Wow.
It was an awesome bike. That ATX one with like the rock shocks and stuff on. It was awesome.
Like the yellow, purple, and red one.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a sick bike. Anyway, got to the top. I remember this like it was yesterday. Got to the top, did the old ritual, pull the brakes. Oh, that brake's gone right to the handlebar. Now I look round, Dave Watson's behind me, the guy that jumped the Tour de France.
Yeah. Sombrio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pissing himself because all the oils come out of my rear brake. I'm like, fuck. Anyway, and it's raining as well at the time. And I had some Smith tear-offs. And I was sponsored by Smith at the time. And some rain had got in under the thing where I hadn't put them away well enough. So I got up this and that snaps. Now, Dave's laughing again even more. And I'm like, holy fuck, it can't get any worse. So literally, that first straight and round the first corner, I reckon was the fastest anyone's ever done it. Because I had no brakes. No brakes. And it gets to like a moto section where it does a little, it's quite a gnarly sort of section, goes left, right, and then left down quite a steep bank. And because it was so wet, I just come into it so fast. Lost the front end and just cartwheeled down this hill. And like, I was trying to get back to my bike. It seemed like forever. And it must have been over 30 seconds because Watson comes flying around the corner, rides over my bike, and he's pissing himself, laughing still, because obviously from all the shit that's happened in the start thing. Yeah, rides over my bike, and I'm like, that's it, game over. I'm not even going to attempt to ride down the rest of it, because the gnarlier bits are later on, you know, really rocky and stuff. So yeah, I was gutted at that. I was
That's
really
like the
gutted.
one that got away.
Yeah, I knew I could have done pretty well at that. And the other one that I could have done good at was Squaw Valley. I think I was up, like, well, in the top, I think I was up in the top 20, like at the third checkpoint, something like that. And I knew there's a rock on the inside. And obviously in between the race runs, it gets so worn out and like it was dry as hell and it was just falling to bits basically. And the line I'd taken in practice, no one was really taking anymore. So I come on the inside and the pedal hit a rock and bent the pedal up and ripped all the threads out of the cranks. So I was trying to ride down. It's like, so I was like just coasted down. I was gutted. That was spooky times.
Yeah.
But there's a few times I've had a couple of bent pedals. Big Bear as well did that. I was on for quite a good one. So it's a bit unfortunate, really. But I think Stellenbosch was probably my best result at 32nd.
Nice.
I think it was, which is all right at one of the first World Cups I've done.
It's such a list of like interesting places, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, compared to, I feel like now we're largely Europe
Seems that way, doesn't it?
based. Yeah.
Yeah, South
that
Africa,
way.
Canada.
Do you do that Japan?
No, I didn't do
Proper
Fuji
World
World
Cup.
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
looked pretty. Yeah, that's the only one I didn't do that year. So I did the rest of them. But yeah, it was good. Like regularly qualify, which was top 70, which doesn't seem. It seems quite a lot, but it's still quick.
Certainly the best,
you know,
mate,
like like it was hard. Like some of the tracks were like literally, like the last Mont St. Anne I did, it was pissing it down, and I had the old DH Tioga tyres.
Yeah.
And
Factory DH.
literally they gripped on nothing. They were like riding like porcelain tubes down the hill, you know? And like, yeah, I might as well not bother to do that. It's like nothing was gripping on anything. And I snapped my seat off at the top on the second compression drop.
Tioga as well?
It was a seat post that actually broke.
Do you
It was a
remember
seat
those?
post that actually broke.
Okay. Let them off.
Yeah, so I was like, thank Christ for that. Because it was literally, I think there was more people broke their arms and wrists on the bottom rock section. Like you had to hit it fast because there was almost bike length gaps in between the rocks. So you had to hit it fast to get over it. You couldn't roll it. And it was like, these tracks are getting proper gnarly now for the bikes. Like you almost need more travel on the bikes to make these tracks work.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I think it was Snoqualmie, I think it was a week after St. Anne, that me and Tim were riding down. And like there was a couple of sections, like I think it was 6 foot rock drops at 3 in a row. And it went right-hander off a drop, which was pretty much a sheer drop, into a corner. And me and Tim, I think we'd done like a run and we'd just come up for a second and they blocked it off. And we were like, why you blocked this off? And so a couple of the American guys are complaining about that it's too gnarly. It's like, it's the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's like, it's meant to be hard. And like, yeah, they took this corner out. and it's like, whoa, I just couldn't believe it. Like the section where we actually felt good on, now we're losing because it was just boring and a bit round, you know. But it's just weird, like how some of the tracks have evolved. Like, you know, Val de Sol, stuff like that is gnarly. Like it's pretty gnarly. And like, I know some people say, oh, the 29-inch wheels and stuff make it easy and stuff like that. Ride the fuck down that track. You know what I mean? That's gnarly on telly. You go there and have a look at that. That's insane. The speed they go now over stuff. It's incredible.
How would you have practiced back then? How would you have prepared for the World Cup? Were you ever like, you know, were there like team training camps, or what were you doing to get ready for it?
Not really team training camps, I wouldn't say. Like we went out as groups and rode as just at the local, just rode, stuff like that. But I mean,
where?
St Catherine's Hill, which is like Christchurch, which is still there now. Some few little tracks there and stuff, but it's such a short hill. Obviously, like you're training for like 3-4 minute downhills, and you've got 20 seconds.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard to do that. So, yeah, did road riding, gym, just normal stuff. It doesn't appeal to me. Like the gym, I just get bored of it. I need to be a bit more focused on stuff, and the road riding is just boring to me. And like I'd probably get 30 miles and that'd be it. I'd switch off. I'd turn off the road or something. I think before I gave the Giants back, they were knackered, because I think one road ride I did, I was like halfway through my ride, it's like I really can't be arsed with this. So I turned off and rode the TCR across the forest. I think I had 2 flat tyres or something. Just I couldn't be asked to fix it again. You know, it's like, nah, I just need to do something different.
Yeah.
But the downhill side was cool. Like, but it's hard. It's not as easy as what people think. It's like ride a bike downhill. You know, the training regime and stuff like that. Like I went out, I'd be out for a long time training and riding.
Even then.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's this thing, isn't there? Well, maybe it's not real, but people think that back then it was more of a piss up, but people were actually training as well.
At the right times it was. It was really, really was.
But you put the work in before you get... Yeah,
you do it, and you can have that blowout because you've earned it.
Yeah.
And like now I see a bit more of that coming back in with the Frenchies and stuff. It's cool. It's really cool because it needs that personality back. It went for a stage where there was just like, it was just dead. And it didn't seem, I don't know, it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, Piron and Bruni, all them guys are just, and Greg obviously, like, it's just bringing that fun back to it. And like when they get interviewed, it's like it's cool. Yeah. They say cool stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's fun. Whereas like it did get to a stage where it was way too serious. I think, although that serious part is still there, they know how to have a bit of a laugh. Yeah. And you know, it doesn't really offend anyone. And it's cool. It's really cool. And like the downhill scene at the moment is rad. Like it's so good to see.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, let's hope we can watch it next year. I don't know what's going on.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
No, that's a story for another day, I think.
Yeah.
How many years did you do doing World Cup downhill?
About 4 years, I think.
Right. And during those 4 years, were you doing like other stuff as well? Other races, dual races? Were you doing?
Yeah,
like...
dual. Well, yeah, just all obviously the British stuff, like all the British rounds and stuff, and that and bike shows, like Friedrichshafen bike shows and sort of stuff like that. Just traveling around and doing bits and bobs. I still dabble with the BMX and stuff at the time because like the time off the BMX allowed me to ride it a little bit again. Yeah. So I could ride for 3 or 4 days or something, and then I'd just struggle with it again. Okay. I mean, I think the last time it really did it was we had the ramp jump box set up at the Elephant Demolition Place, which is like in Hordle, and I basically just riding towards the jump box, and I wheelied over a sleeping policeman just like a bump in the road, and as I went to pedal, and it just back went, and it was like, that's it, I'm fucked. Yeah. I couldn't do anything again. Like I tried everything to get it sorted, and nothing seemed to sort of happen. So like the mountain bike, I'm glad that was there because I could ride it. Yeah. And I could still get that release of getting out on it. Yeah. But I was quite gutted because I still like the BMX now, but it's harder to get back on it now where I've been off it so long. It takes me a little while to get back into it. But I still like riding it. It's cool. I do like that, but I'd never sell it. Still keep it.
When you say it, what is it?
Credence. I just bought one actually last year.
Oh, really?
New frame, yeah, Credence. Okay. Black Magic frame. Okay. It's like 22-inch top tube, so it's a long bike. Yeah. But it feels better from getting off the mountain bike onto it because it feels the right length.
Is it 20-inch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever Did you have a 22-inch wheel?
I had a 20. Yeah, when it first came out, I bought a Kai 40 United 44 one.
He had a 22. He had a
22.
22-inch wheel
Yeah,
bike.
yeah. On United. Yeah, yeah.
No way. I didn't
rode-
know that.
I didn't know that. No.
No.
Yeah, I found out. I think got it. I rode it a pump track for like 10 minutes. I was like, fucking hell, this is shit. Like, I think dimensions were wrong because it was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't quite right dimension wise. I didn't think. It just felt horrible. I felt like, it's like that running thing. I was on jogging and I was going out and just felt too conscious of people watching me.
On the like, literally 2-inch difference.
Yeah.
They do look weird.
Ride
though.
around a pump track and it's like, some people have got to be watching me.
Yeah.
I look an idiot. This bike's wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is. I know, yeah, it's only 2 inches, but like, fucking hell.
You just go like, hey, no.
But like, it's just wrong. In my head, it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
The bottom bracket's too high on the bigger wheel, and I don't know. Yeah, it just felt wrong.
Rob
So I got
Horton
rid of
was
it.
running them. He'd like explain it as like a, like one step towards retirement sort of thing.
really.
And now he's back on the 20 as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Must
I
just
see he's
be-
back on there. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think it's amazing he's still riding them. I can't imagine riding a BMX. I've never ridden one, really. I've actually never ridden one. You ridden one?
Yeah, I did a little BMX phase. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. What type?
Yeah, dirt jumping. I had a Stolen. It was called.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
man. That
Yeah,
sounds
Yeah, there
cool.
was. I
Such
think it was
cool
Mark
names,
McCann's company, Throw Systems guy.
Stolen.
Do you own Stolen?
No, Anthony Revel owned
Yeah.
Stolen. Yeah,
Then maybe they just collaborated on distribution. I'm not sure.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's why I had one, because it was cheap, because it came through a trade account.
Was it actually a stolen? Or was it just a stolen bike? Did you steal?
Oh,
a
you
bike?
mean no? It wasn't one of. It wasn't a Steve special. My dad's special. No, it was the brand was.
You
Stolen.
have to wear oven
Yeah.
gloves. It's
Yeah.
so moody.
Yeah.
So hot.
Not one of those where it's like you can ride it, but just not round here.
Yeah.
Not around that
Not
neighbourhood.
them kids over there.
Specifically that shed.
Yeah,
Nah, I did a BMX stint for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for quite a while. Yeah,
Good
dirt
on
jumps
you.
and stuff. So I've got this iconic image in my head of that. We talked about it before, maybe, or even at the start with Superman in dirt cover, orange missile. How do we go from the World Cups to that?
Great.
that was the World Cup. That was still the same time.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah. It was,
Wow.
Obviously, the orange time was
Was
still
it?
World Cups. Yeah, yeah. Still riding World Cups and stuff then.
Jeez.
Um,
Apologies. Didn't know.
Yeah, that
I just
was,
figured it was way later.
24s. That was
In my
that was
head,
early.
it's-
Yeah, that was fairly early because that's 24s. I was riding 24s on that,
Shit, yeah.
and then I went to 26s, and it was just horrible. Just didn't seem the same. Like with the 24, you could spin it like a BMX, and 360s on 26-inch bike just seems a bit wrong to me now. But I can do them on 26s, but
Yeah,
they just don't feel right because I'm used to obviously the smaller bike.
yeah.
But I've recently gone back to 24s, back on 24s on a jump bike, and it just feels more me. It feels the bike moves around a bit more. So I quite like that.
Okay. Question for both of you then, actually. What does it feel like to get a dirt cover? What was it like when you first got that, for both of you?
Fucking, you've probably got way more than me.
It's just cool. It's cool.
How many
Yeah,
do you get?
definitely.
Have you had a ride cover as well?
Yes.
Oh,
Ride
dude,
cover.
that is. How many people have had dirt and ride?
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
No one.
MBUK?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been on
Obviously,
MBUK.
yeah.
But
We were in the bike shop earlier. Can I just say, we were in the bike shop earlier. Next to the till, there's a pile of magazines. The one on top is this guy.
That's
Imagine
dope.
that. You just walk in some shop,
That's
not
cool.
even anywhere near your house, and there's just you on like a...
Yeah,
I
crossfed
don't know
MBUK.
if you... Did you sneak... I didn't see you go in. Did you...
Oh, no,
Did you
no,
go
no.
in front of me? I'm trying to work it out.
Oh, you do know me, Holly, don't you?
Yeah,
not the sort of thing I do, is it?
No, I don't think it...
All right,
Very
so what's it
impressive,
feel
though.
like? What's it feel like to get a dirt cover?
It's cool. I quite like it. I'd say I quite like it. That seems a bit gay. But no, going in Tesco's, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like I did get some old bloke doing like a double take.
No
Like,
way.
I went in and was like stood there and Laura, my missus, goes, "Oh, look, there it is," and grabbed it. And this guy was, I think he'd just put it down, so he must have been a mountain biker of some sort of types. And he sort of, I picked it up and was just looking through it. And he's like, I said, speaking to Lauren about, cool, some cool pictures now. We'll get that. And I think I bought 2 copies just to have one and what have you. And this guy was like, he kept looking over and sort of like, it was all, so he obviously knew. But
That's cool.
it's just, yeah, I'm easy going. If just someone say that's cool or like nice to meet you or something like that,
Yeah.
it's cool. But it's just, I get a bit weirded out of the whole pointing and stuff like that. I'm pretty easygoing. Like anyone come up to me and talk to me, I'll speak to them.
Mm.
I'm cool like that. But yeah, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's like, yeah.
And back then, especially, like, what did that do for your career? Like, was that a thing you could then? Would you then report that back to sponsors and be like,
yeah, like,
"Yo, pay me," sort of thing? Like,
well, not as, you'd have the sponsors anyway. So like, if you
Yeah.
got a cover, you get a bonus.
Yeah.
For that, like Smith did like a bonus thing for me, and I did ads for them, and yeah, I got money for that. Like the animal thing was just a picture in a mag for animal. I got paid my wage for that. So
okay,
there was a few. Yeah, it was good. It was okay. Get a little bonus off Smith, which was cool.
Yeah.
But it was. I wouldn't say it was harder to get stuff sort of like that back then, but product was easy to get, but it was just tailing off. I think it was getting harder the later years to do stuff like that or to get the money. I think they were starting to tighten the purse strings, and it did get, I wouldn't say it was hard towards the end, but it was harder to get better money
yeah,
to do it, and the
Yeah.
expenses and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, because you talk about this like golden era of mountain biking as well, right? It's like, was it
Yeah.
financially the golden era as well, or was it?
Was it?
I think
Gold
so,
Rush?
yeah. It definitely towards the end of, like, when I stopped the riding, which was like 2000, I think it's 2001 or something. Like, I think Steve phoned up and offered me this money. I'm like, nah, I can't do it for that.
Right.
And like, it just sort of hung up basically.
Really?
And like, you know,
Steve.
yeah, I thought, well,
Steve.
I sort of think
Who?
I put the phone down or whatever. But like, I thought, oh, he's going to phone back with a better offer. And nothing happened.
Who's Steve?
Steve Kitchen, the
Okay.
team animal manager
Animal
at the time.
guy. Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's what it is. Like, you know, when we did the shows and stuff, I was like, that's what I used to like doing and stuff, and I'd sort of put my heart and soul into all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I loved doing that. And when you don't seem to get the reciprocation back off people, that's when it starts to get a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
Was it loads of? I feel like you went through a period of like all of the out of industry ones, like big money.
Yeah.
out
What's
of
a big
industry.
sponsor back then?
Yeah.
When you're like, what's
Yeah.
an outside sponsor that would have come in?
When we had like, well, the animals, PlayStation, this one's like PlayStation.
Yes, PlayStation.
Cadbury's Boost. Like, so we used to
Dude.
get boxes of that. The PlayStation
We used
thing.
to get boxes of that.
Perfect
What about the money?
PlayStation,
Yeah,
Cadbury.
Boost.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We used to get boxes of that. That's
yeah,
cool.
what's that? But to be fair, like, never saw a lot of the PlayStation stuff. Like, we had one for the van,
Yeah.
but I don't think I got one through personally.
God, jersey
For
though.
that?
I think we spoke about that with Squibby too, right? Animal jersey with those that
Meant
Yeah.
something, didn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
That kit is pretty iconic, to be fair.
Orange.
Big
Like,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool kit.
Those
Like, there's
logos on.
2 years it was really good. I think the first year was really cool. It was black and silver with the red giant and got a silver animal logo on the front. That was a cool kit. Quite like that one. And then obviously the iconic ones, the orange prop one, which was cool.
So sick, that one.
Yeah, that's a cool kit. And it looks. I love that because it's more moto, and that was like.
Yeah. It's funny
So I
to think
want
that,
it to
like you
be.
said, maybe that only ran for like a year, 18 months, but it's so like ingrained in people's
Yeah.
brains of that.
Yeah.
But at the time, everyone was wearing, even Petey and stuff. I think they were wearing like lycra and stuff. So that kit came in, and it was like, whoa,
Yeah,
what's
true,
going
yeah.
on? This is
Yeah.
like moto gear and stuff.
Yeah.
And it sort of evolved, and everyone started wearing like the more moto BMXy type gear.
Yeah.
Um,
And
which
you
is-
you used that dirt jumping too. Was that like a thing you could do?
No, well, we all had like the animal casual stuff or sort
Okay.
of stuff like that.
Right.
With me urban camos.
Yeah, dude. And the
And the
Danies
top.
knee
Yeah,
pads and
nice knee
shins.
pads.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was good times. Yeah, it's cool.
It was a cool team as well. I remember going to a pedal hounds race at Rogate, and I was such a fan, dude. I would follow around trying to hear like line chat. I just thought everything about, like, I couldn't imagine what it was like to be in a team like that. It was the coolest thing
Yeah.
ever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And like out of the teams that were like, there was a Yeti team that was quite cool, wasn't there? There was a
Yeah, Darren, was it Darren Tapp and that lad was in it?
And what was the other rude boy's name? I can't remember anyway. He's a tiny little fella. Anyway,
I can't remember.
but I remember just seeing like there was only a few teams where you were like, "Gore." I remember being a kid and being like, "I want to be on that team.
Yeah.
I want to be on that team."
Fucking cool.
It was
Yeah.
it was cool. Like, it's probably one of the first lot to have a big van, really, I suppose. Like MBK had like a Winnebago, I think, at the time, didn't they? But yeah, it was cool. Like that van was pretty rad. Like driving that 14 hours to Fort William wasn't great, but yeah, it was cool to have something like that, and you know, you could sleep in that. You wouldn't have to go in a hotel.
Yeah,
it was fun times for sure.
Iconic.
Yeah.
So when they came to an end,
Iconic.
what happened? What did you? I know what happened, but what did you get up to after that?
After the whole mountain
After now not doing World Cup, you've mentioned it a load of times. G-bikes, I think that was a mega cool era, wasn't it? That was after you'd stopped racing, right?
Yeah. We did the whole G-bikes, which is like 24 jump bike. Obviously, it was doing a lot of the dirt series rounds and stuff like that. And we made this bike because a lot of the bikes that were about then weren't really there. So we thought we'll put more BMX geometry and stuff into a jump bike specific 24 and see how it went and stuff. And we rode. I think I won a few of the events and stuff. I sponsored Grant and Olly Fielder. I think Ollie used to try and kill himself at every jump event possible, which he pretty much did. I think the one at Olympia, and was it Birmingham? Is it not? No, Birmingham, NEC?
Yeah.
He, for some reason, he was jumping wearing like these Elvis glasses. And me and Gary Penman, who used to drive for Curtis back in the day, we were sitting on like the quarter pipe riding BMX on the street course. Yeah. And I looked over and I go, Ollie's just about to drop in. He's got them fucking glasses on. Next thing we see, massive like crash, and these boards go up. It's like, fucking hell, he's dead. Like all these boards are up, so no one can see him and stuff like this. And like he's done himself in. He's got a black eye. And then the week after, I think it's the week afterwards.
Go up.
Yeah, it's not good.
No,
just people think the worst, don't they? Oh, his legs come off. Something like that. It's like, wow. But like, yeah, he did the same thing at Western. They had an indoor jump jam thing. Do you remember that Western Supermare?
Yeah, I remember it.
But the jumps were a bit wet and they were tacky, so they're quite slow. I think he hung up front wheel or something on the second set when Buzz knocked himself out. But when he was on it, like he had some
really
cool,
good ride.
Yeah, he had some really cool tricks.
Yeah,
like really good stuff, and like people didn't do back then. And like him and Chop were, they're quite at the forefront of like a lot of the, like I'd ridden with them and they ridden with me at Buckland, like which was my local training ground in Leamington, and which is still like a training ground now. Like they built this 4-pack thing there, and like everyone comes down to ride it over the winter. And like that's what I started back in the day, pretty much.
Right.
And like like Ollie and me and then Grant and a few other guys used to ride there. Cy Belson, Stig, and a few other guys like riding and stuff. It was just it was really good times. It was literally just down the road from my house, so I just go and just spend all day there digging these sandy jumps and stuff, and it was cool. But yeah, it was good times. Like they did all right. They rode pretty good and did a few comps for me and stuff, and then it just sort of went from there. And I sort of tailed off. I didn't really do much after that, to be fair. Like I had probably 2 or 3 years of not really doing much. I just did my own thing. I still rode mountain bikes. Yeah. Like I had a jump bike. I think I rode a couple of times. I used to see you like if I go to like a few of the jump spots.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what it was, but just got a transition flow ambassador type thing going on, and it was really nice to get another bike which was like way more evolved than what I'd ridden before, if you know what I mean, like a suspension bike, because I've been riding jump bikes and stuff, and it was cool to have another sort of little sponsor, and it sort of burnt a little fire up again in me and like try and get something going again. And I did the whole transition thing, I think it was a couple of years, which was cool, through Wimwave. And then from that I did a year on like Cannondale.
What happened to G-bikes?
The G-bike things just fizzled out. There was so many jump bikes at that time about. So it was so hard to push
I remember it
a more expensive bike
How
to the
involved were
masses.
you? How involved were you? Obviously with the design, but like, how much would you get involved with actually welding it? Was it all Dad?
My dad used to do a lot of the welding, like Zimmers and
Yeah.
stuff. I welded up my own one I had.
Yeah,
So, but he was way neater.
yeah.
Like the tigging and the brazing he did, because from Rickman's and working with Brian Curtis.
Right.
So each of those frames were really quite literally made in your garage of
Yeah.
your family. Rad.
Yeah, like
That's
in the
pretty cool.
garage. Yeah,
Yeah.
like all the tubes were mited out by hand or filed by hand. They weren't, the dropouts were laser cut, but they had to be finished off because they were a little bit rough. But yeah, it was cool. It was nice to have something that you've done and someone wanted.
Yeah.
Like I still get pictures sent to me now, like of the Zimmers and stuff.
Still going.
Yeah, I've just built this up, and it wins like some show and shine at Milton Keynes or something. Yeah, it's like
So cool.
it's nuts. Like it's mad how I find that strange how people still want that.
Yeah.
Like I get the whole old school thing, but if people go nuts on it, and it's cool to have certain stuff, but it's sort of like not almost like get over it, but like do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. It's just I haven't got the room to have half the stuff that people have got.
Yeah.
Like some people are so nuts with it all.
Have you got any old G bikes?
I think my dad's got one of the original frames just built up. It's like a
Rad.
24,
Right.
like
That's
built
cool.
up with gears and stuff. But might have a frame, I think, somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we got the original jump bike G bikes frame and a 20-inch one, which we did as well, which we only made one of. I think we've got that somewhere, but I cracked the seat post because the seat post tube's too thin. So 3 in it and stuff, it just split. But I rode it for probably about a year before it did that. So,
yeah, there you go.
and it was a lot lighter than the Zimmers. I mean, the Zimmers frame and forks were like £16.
So, what would you do
It's
like
ridiculous.
on those bikes? Did you do butting, or would you get butted tubes, or were they all plain gauge?
It was all
gauge?
straight. The Zimmer was all straight gauge, I think.
Was it?
yeah.
Nice, like gas pipe. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Proper. Well, I mean, considering the frames back then probably weighed 5.5, 6 pounds
Yeah.
for the frames, it might have even been lighter than that. But like, yeah, the frame was 10 pounds, so it's twice the weight of a normal frame. The forks was like 6 pounds, the same as a frame. 16 pounds a frame of forks. They work good on a vert ramp and a mini ramp because it's weight. It
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
so it worked ideal. But yeah,
Bowling ball.
they were heavy.
Chucking a bowling ball.
They were bloody heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
So then
Crazy.
now, so you then transitioned, just kind of floated in and out of deals since? Like what?
Just a bit of everything. Like,
You seem to have stayed like relevant,
yeah,
like really relevant. Consciously or not?
I haven't. I don't. To be fair, I'm not one of those ones that have to work at shit.
Okay.
Like I'm. I suppose I'm fairly talented at what I do.
Yeah.
I don't have to work at it. I
Okay.
can do stuff all right.
Yeah.
And I think when you don't have a break, like if you're constantly doing it, you don't really lose. Excuse me. Frog. Hang on.
You lose frogs. So
Crack a lick
mate,
of
I'm
death,
lost.
dude.
I don't
Bear
really
with
get
me.
the point you're trying to make. Yeah, so you lose frogs if you. But dude, you say it's like comes easy. If you think about how many years, like it's actually bizarre.
Yeah, the 10,000 hours.
Oh no, he's crying now.
No.
Oh, it's all
Made it
gone wrong.
emotional.
It's
It's
all gone rogue.
Yeah.
It's a great thumbing.
I hate that
It's
feeling. I
crying.
don't know what that feeling is.
What?
That feeling of when you literally can't talk.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Happens-
it's a frog in the
happens-
throat. Yeah,
Happens to the best of us.
but even
Gone
what
that
you're
right.
talking about is so many years, so it's not really.
No, it's a 10,000 hours thing, isn't it? As well, it's
Yeah,
you've
like,
put the time in.
I've never had a break. I
Yeah,
wouldn't. Probably the longest break I've had.
Mm.
2.5 months, 2 months, probably.
Wow.
Like,
So no major like injuries throughout your career, like no big biggies,
dislocated my shoulder.
right?
That was quite a bit of a longer recovery. Broken arm recently. That was
Oh,
probably
right.
one of my worst.
Yeah.
That was 14 weeks,
Okay.
16 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still bad now. Like my wrist is bad because I haven't got the movement.
I just went riding with you. I didn't even ask you about it.
Yeah.
The last time I saw you in a cast.
Yeah, today a bit. Just get on with it, don't you?
Does it hurt? Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel you're back amongst it though, aren't you?
I can ride at an alright level again, yeah. It's just like I'm not quite sure what it'd be like if I fell off on it. Wouldn't be great, I don't think. The arm's fine. It's just the movement in my wrist, but that comes back.
Yeah.
And I can still ride alright. I mean, riding your bike today and riding down stuff I didn't know and what was coming up, it was alright. Like,
yeah, it's sort of like the sort of only one break being the front brake sort of happened again, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And also the laughing at you for it also happened again,
I'm not sure it's a lack of mechanics on your bike that I borrowed.
Winter, man. Winter's tough.
We did have a nut and bolt check,
Like,
didn't we, though? And
lack of
the
brakes.
saddle nearly
He
fell
gave
off,
it the
didn't
W
it?
check. Is that what it's called? M check.
The M check.
M check, sorry.
We got as far as a V and the seat was loose.
The seat's chilling. It's the oi saddle. It's got a mind of its own. It's just wriggly. For us to get out there.
To be fair, that bike handled pretty well. It was all right.
There you go. It's all right, isn't it?
Bike, that,
It's gone through a lot as well.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
It felt like it.
Yeah, it's winter, isn't it? I think it is a hard time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's especially around here. It's like so grainy. You just wreck bikes.
But it's good. It's good.
It
round
is
here.
good.
We've just not got the hills down south. It's like
Where are you based then?
I'm Ringwood, so it's in between Bournemouth and Southampton, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
We've got a little hill near me, but nothing like Hindhead or anything near Olly. So
Where did you grow up? Where were you?
around Southampton, Bournemouth way.
Okay. When you said Leamington, I thought you meant like Leamington Spa. But
Leamington. Yeah,
I thought I thought you were
it's
saying
that on
different.
south coast sort of thing down there. So
Got
it's based there solely.
Dude, when you talk about how long you've been doing it and the dates you've pulled out, how do you still stay hyped to do it? Does it come easy?
Yeah, this winter stuff doesn't do anything for me, to be fair. But like today, once I'm out riding, it's fine. It's just like you're saying, you struggle to go out if it's raining. Like I think everyone does. Like, but it's not. I'm out of my comfort zone. Like as soon as I see rain, it's like, no, it's not me.
Keep the tarp on.
But I love it once I'm out there. Like today, the tracks were sick, and like there's not super technical, but the wet for me made it hard because I don't ride in them conditions.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a challenge, and like if I knew where I was going, probably would be a little bit better. But yeah,
I guess I
blind
mean
tracks
more
right.
generally because every summer I'll turn up at some trails and you'll be there, and like that's a lot of summers you've done now, and you're still back for more.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what it is for me. Just jumping. I can still do it on my BMX, but I don't feel as comfortable. I can get through stuff. It's not a problem. Injuries and stuff like that age just takes a toll on you, and like you've got to find other ways of getting around what you love doing. Like I love jumping. That's what I'm about. Like, and to ride trails still now is I'm obviously privileged to do that. You know, after all these years of riding, there's a lot of people that can't do it.
Yeah.
Because they've had that break, I think. And like I've been doing it constantly, and that's one thing that will always almost take preference over anything.
Really?
Like if I can go to the jumps, I'll go to the jumps.
Yeah, jumps. Yeah.
And like it's just when we were there not so long back and stuff, just dicking around, like doing stupid stuff. Like
we got a good list.
I
of
love
things.
that
This is a
stuff.
good little segment. We got a good list of things that we tried out at the trail.
Oh, really?
yeah, it's fun. It's good fun.
Like what?
Just was it one eye shut?
Right, try and ride
That
one
was
eye
hard.
shut. This is a really
Never tried that,
dude.
Okay.
If you try and
It's not hard. It's not easy.
Really?
mate, it's nearly impossible. I couldn't go over a roller.
It was the
because
first table,
it's
wasn't it?
3D.
Wow.
You don't think about it, dude, but it's like nearly completely impossible.
It
Then
was
it got a
bad.
bit out of hand, didn't it?
You did a stem run holding the bar, wasn't it?
Bar
Was
and
it stem?
What did you do?
Bar's 180
Bar's 180.
That's tough.
through the whole lot.
Oh,
Through the whole
No.
lot, yeah.
I know what I
Personally.
did. I did.
Oh, can one, wasn't it? Did you not can through?
Yeah. I did one where I did underarm,
Yeah, sod that.
and then my brake I didn't think about how extreme it was until like not being able to brake. And you know, because you can still pull up through the trails underarm. Oh,
Probably
sorry.
harder.
Yeah, you can still pull up
Like a
underarm.
bicep curl.
But then you don't have any option to not pull up if you can't brake or if you can't slow down.
It's so dumb.
It's really dumb, wasn't it?
It was pretty stupid.
You don't ride
That's funny.
brakeless, do you, on the BMX?
I did do for a little bit.
Yeah, that terrifies me. That
But
thought is just like...
It's more, you find yourself flowing around more. Like, not doing so much stop-starty stuff.
Right.
And it's
I bet,
loads better.
You can't.
But I went, I did, and then I went to Bristol for a comp. I can't remember what it was. Not Dean Lane. Might have been Dean Lane. But, and literally rode there, just riding around before the jam, and I nearly killed about 3 people. So
Really?
I went straight back to the van and put my brake on after about probably 4 months of riding no brake. So yeah, it's hard. Like, it's hard. Even tricks are just so much harder. And like, you talk about the street guys and stuff riding with no brakes. It's incredible some of the stuff they do with no brakes. Like the balance and like that Courage Adams guys does all the manual stuff.
So impressive. Yeah, that big truck down those.
Yeah, it's insane.
No brake.
But like, you know, you haven't got that brake to rely on if you're going to loop out or just stuff like that. It's just, it makes everything so much harder.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you still find it so fun.
Love it.
That's good.
Really
that
cool.
Means we've got a few years left.
Yeah, and speaking of things left, we've only got 15 minutes left on the old memory card. One thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
You did some stunt work.
I did do some stunt work, yes.
Yes, Davey.
So can we talk about stunt work? Like, how did that come about, and what movies have you worked on?
That's all top secret. Well, Animal got a letter saying, have you got anyone that fits this criteria? It's got to be
Massive dick.
5'10", however, yeah. Yeah, that was the first. Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah, it fit this criteria, not the dick thing. 5'10", ride a bike, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was the closest fit apparently for it, so I thought, okay, cool, we'll go for it. And it's for stunt work in 101 Dalmatians.
No way.
Which was like Glenn Close. I can't even remember his name now. He was in Dumber and Dumber. Not Jim Carrey, the other one.
Oh.
He was the guy in it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did the stunt work.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's not his name in Dumber and Dumber, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that is a massive Hollywood movie, isn't it? I know the one that you mean as well.
Yeah. So we did riding down the steps at Pall Mall, and then like in between the cars and that. I was working with the stunt coordinator was Simon Crane. There's another guy I worked with, Gary, who did, I can't remember his second name, but he did like the jump the tank through the wall in Goldeneye.
Oh, wow.
He did that. So like I was working with him pretty closely. So I stayed up there quite a bit, and we did like, I think 6 months, and it got held for a bit, and then I did another 6 months after.
And you were doing, were you working for it? Because a lot of people in the movie thing say that a lot of it's just sitting about.
Yeah,
Was it a lot
to
of
be
it
fair,
sitting
there's
about?
a lot of sitting around. But
Yeah.
Hold up, you did 6 months on the
Yeah.
Dalmatians.
On a day rate?
well, I got paid monthly, like paid monthly for it, which was pretty cool.
What, mate? How much of that? What did you do for 6 months? Mate, I can't believe that. That's so sick.
It was early start, like you had to be on set. I think it was like 6 o'clock, and you wouldn't end some days till 7, half 7. So it's long days. Like you'd sit in makeup. I think I was in makeup for 2.5 hours.
Really?
Like, yeah, like to make look like an old man. Obviously, wouldn't have the problem now, but but yes, yeah, it was good fun. Like it's a little bit boring at times, but when you're actually doing like the training and at the end of the day, I was put in a car park, and like, you know, I've spent God knows how many years trying to ride in control. Now the guy's telling me, oh yes, can you ride out of control? I'm like, okay. So yeah, I'd be put in this thing, and I'd at one section, I think I was getting pulled by a dog, and I had to ride out of control. So like you're pedaling, slipping off the pedals, like slip down to the seat on your stomach, like hitting jumps and stuff with the dog's towing you, like doing like stoppies out of control. Like,
dude, we're
it's
doing
like-
this at the trails next. I want to see your routine next time we're at the trails.
Turn up with some dogs.
it's been it's been a long time since I've done that stuff. But yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like, it's pretty incredible. Like,
I didn't think about the training.
I did come off.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I got stitches. There's some stitches in my forehead.
No
Let
way.
me see.
And yeah.
See that? That was all.
From Dalmatians.
I think that was. Oh, that might have been downhill. I can't remember. It's ages ago. But yeah, it could have been chin. It might have been chin. But I went to hospital, like split my chin open, had to have stitches. The dog pulled me over the bar just before I hit the jump. The lead went tight,
Right.
so it just yanked the bar out of my hand, and yeah, I went over the bars and nutted the floor.
In training or on camera?
No, training. Yeah. But
Is that the only one you've done? You've done more? Like, did it open doors in that industry or no?
No, it was really hard to get a green card at the time.
Ah, okay.
So, and you had to get a green card to do it. Like, I went to the show night of when they opened it and stuff like that. But I was gutted because I didn't have a green card, didn't get a name credential on the thing.
And that probably does count for it, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I've done like other stuff, like during the bike shows, we do like that Saturday morning telly and stuff. So I was on telly with Mr. Blobby.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Actually, that.
Another one of my idols.
Yeah, he's
Pedophile
sound
turned
guy.
out.
Mr. Blobby.
Probably.
I did make myself look a bit of an idiot on there.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, we were riding Mr. Blobby, and like, obviously he's like...
You were riding Mr. Blobby?
No, I was riding with Mr. Blobby.
with.
Yeah.
Told you.
I didn't ride him. It's pretty springy, his suit, I tell you.
Yeah.
But, like...
You rode with him?
Yeah.
With Mr. Blobby?
I think it was me, like Zach Shaw, a few other guys, like riding around, and like he can only see straight ahead.
Yeah, he's like
he's got
literally
no
like a
peripheral vision,
10-pin bowling thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a skittle, isn't it?
So like he said, whatever you do, don't ride towards him because he can't see you.
And you can't make eye contact with him either, can you?
Anyway, so it was like, and I was getting a bit bored of like riding at him, obviously, like as we were, because we were told not to. So we were just doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and there was a wall at the side. It was like probably 3.5 foot high wall with a 2 foot drop at the back of it with like some flowers and stuff in it. Anyway, for some reason, I thought I'll just do a little foot plant on there. So I hopped up onto it and my foot missed the wall, went over the back, and I literally just disappeared, and I was full view in the middle of the camera. And like over the back, and I just apparently pop out like that and just get back on my bike and like start again.
Have you got footage?
No, I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, it's got to be somewhere.
Literally, but the weekend after, they had so many people like write in and say, we want to see that biker fall off his bike again. That they played it about 2 or 3 times in the show again.
And it was on Noel's, what was it? Noel's house party, was it that?
Saturday morning show
Mr.
thing.
Blobby?
Like,
Okay.
Mr. Blobby knocked about a bit, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
He started doing late night afterwards, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonder what he's up to now.
God knows.
He's not aged, apparently. Looks dead.
Really?
No,
If he did, it'd be horrible. He'd look like a testicle, wouldn't he?
Yeah. It wouldn't look nice.
You know, a wrinkly Mr. Blobby's not on, is it, really?
Like a thumb that's been in the water for too
it's
long.
just melted.
Yeah.
Poor Mr. Blobby. Hope he's
Yeah.
all right anyway.
Maybe he moisturised quite well and he's...
Maybe.
Mr. Blobby never sort of made it onto social media, did he?
No.
He didn't make
No,
that sort of
mate,
transition.
No. Got left behind.
What if he's got OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Interesting thought.
Maybe.
Interesting thought, yeah.
Have we reached a natural ending?
I think we need to do
Blobby
another
and
one.
OnlyFans.
I think we need to have Steve on again.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know
That's
what I
so
wanted
fun.
to do is the watching and listening. And maybe
And we haven't done podium picks. Can we do a really quick podium picks? We're good for podium picks.
We got okay. Shoot. Do
No,
podium picks.
it's you.
Oh, it's
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Right, podium picks. Have you got podium picks?
No, I was just going to say, because everyone goes and buy a Tourer EVH, because they are the best bikes out at the moment.
Whoa, where did that come from? That came right out of the...
I like
Actually,
it.
instead of doing podium picks, maybe we should talk about... Or we could do podium picks on top 3 bikes that you could ride in an arsenic quarry.
Well, obviously, the Tourer EVH would be the best for all of that.
Dude, you ride a proper... That is a proper old school rampage bike, isn't it?
It's a big bike. It's based off the Brooklyn, basically, with
Yeah.
new geometry, which works.
I saw that.
It's a sick bike. Yeah.
And that's what you're on at the moment.
Yeah, and I've got a Proto shorter travel 160 that I'm riding at the minute, which is going to be changing, hopefully. But
So what travel is your bike here?
it's 160. Yeah.
The one in the back of the car?
I'd like
No
to see
way.
it. I'd like to see this. Like
Yeah.
to see
It's
it.
160.
We should go out and have a look in a minute.
But the big downhill bike's 200.
Wow, there you go. I always thought you had the 200. You have had, haven't you?
I've still got that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Still got that.
that's the downhill one, and then obviously I've got just like the free ridey type.
Yeah.
enduro, but I don't pedal it anywhere.
Uplift bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sick bike though. It works just amazing. It's awesome.
Have you got an e-bike in your bike garage at the moment?
No, hence why I had to borrow the
Okay.
Focus today. But
Yeah.
I did have one through work.
Yeah.
Stonehenge Cycles where I work.
Yep.
Got a demo like a giant. Had a giant Rain. Had that for a while, which is awesome. Yeah, it's an awesome bike. Like I do like the Yam motor, the way it works and stuff. It's cool.
Sorry, you just alluded on it real quick. So what do you do now? Like, what's Steve Geall's week look like?
I'm a bike mechanic. Stonehenge Cycles. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's
all
cool.
the guys there are pretty sound, like Chris and Nats and Nick. So yeah, they're all.
That's
they're
the day
cool.
to day.
Yeah. I should be there today, but luckily I got out of it for doing this.
Are we doing a little plug, are we?
Yeah.
Stonehenge
Stonehenge Cycles. Yeah, it's in Salisbury, Fishton Street.
Is that near actual Stonehenge?
It's a bit away from there, to be honest.
How far away?
I've only been there once.
One of the 7th wonders of the world, Stonehenge.
I don't know.
it
They
really?
got me.
Away, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty gnarly place.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably 15 miles,
Okay.
12 miles.
Can
So
we
that's
get you to sit here and then we do an advert for Stonehenge Cycles and that's how we end the episode?
I think we should. Yeah.
Yes! I've said it and now it has to happen. Steve, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, mate. Honestly,
Sweet.
thank you. Say it to a lot of people, but thank you for everything.
Yeah,
It
right.
inspired me like crazy when I was a youth dem, and continue to now.
absolutely.
So
Thanks very
thank
much.
you.
Yeah, just riding a bike.
Yeah.
In summary, riding a bike. Cheers, dog.
Thank
See you,
you.
man. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, I feel a bit deflated now. I feel like it's all coming to an end. This
Aw,
episode's
doesn't have
finishing.
to.
No?
No, people can watch another clip if they want. It's down there,
That easy?
down here, somewhere. They can subscribe up there.
Is it that easy? Yeah.
Yeah. They can follow us on Instagram at The Ride Companion.
That's true.
They can follow you personally at @OW_23.
Yeah.
They can check out the website.
Oh, it'd be nice if they did,
You
actually.
can sign up to the mailing list.
So what you're saying is it just continues?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. So the podcast just continues into real life?
Yeah. We just integrate it into the real life. We're
I've
not
had an
just
idea,
podcast people.
actually.
What?
We could continue it into real life even more
Ooh.
in Mexico. Am I right?
Oh, mate. If you want to come on holiday with us, we're going to eat tacos, ride bikes in Oaxaca in December. Then head to the website to find out more information, or in the show description, there is more details.
Man, does that sound good.
Arriba.
That's it. That's your Spanish.
See.
Oh!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.